Part 21. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 201. Rob. At this moment, everyone went crazy and started grabbing the gold and silver. These are all money. Boom. Not long after, the wall collapsed. Law. Haha, in this case, who cares about the law? Everyone knows that the law does not punish everyone. Since you also went to rob, if I didn't rob, isn't that a loss? So, if you rob, I also want a gun, and I want to rob more than you. Crazy. Yes, it is crazy. If there is a 20% profit, someone will be ready to take action. If there is 100, if the profit reaches 50%, some people are willing to take risks. When the profit is 100%, some people risk being beheaded. If the profit reaches 300%, then some people dare to trample all laws. This is human nature. In this situation, if you get something for nothing, if you just rob it, you can get wealth that will last a lifetime. Who wouldn't rob it? Moreover, they stand on the moral high ground and think that they are robbing to serve the country and robbing the ancient sea demon. Who wouldn't rob the first store to contribute to the country? So, everyone went crazy. When the law enforcement team arrived and saw the ruins, everyone was dumbfounded. Upstairs, the ancient Han saw this scene. Taking a deep breath, he asked Father, "Have you planted a seed in the hearts of the people? Indulging the people into bandits. Indulging the people into bandits? It's still early, this is just the beginning." Guhai smiled faintly. Guhan's eyes flickered. At this time, he heard Guhai say, "Go to the prince's mansion in the evening to add fuel to the flames. Tomorrow's court meeting is the key." "Yes, adoptive father, don't worry." In recent years, the prince has been elected as the crown prince. Although he cannot influence the prince's thoughts, he can still listen to a few words, Guhan said with a confident smile. Time, July 17 ticked by. The news that the ancient Song Silver building was robbed quickly spread throughout Song City. The ancient Song Silver building was Guhai's shop, and Guhai, as the time traveler, was once a tycoon, and how much wealth he accumulated. A silver house is not just about silver, but also countless gold objects. In short, it is so rich. Countless people became rich almost instantly, it's that simple. Just rob and that's it? Many people who didn't have time to participate were beating their chests and getting jealous. Of course, Song Chen was eerily silent at this moment. Although they robbed the silver building this time, they occupied the moral high ground, but who knows how the government will judge. Everyone is waiting for news, waiting for the news of the court meeting the next day. Countless messages are passed to the hands of ministers, and countless ministers also frown. Since the ministers know it, the prince naturally knows it too. Ha ha ha, it's such a joy to grab it. Well, the prince's face was full of ferociousness. He hated Guhai to the core. With his son's death, the 800,000 strong army was defeated. Countless accumulated anger had made him get excited whenever he heard that Guhai was not good at all. Situation. Prince, now is not the time to be happy. At this time, a staff member smiled bitterly. The prince frowned and looked at the staff. Then, the staff smiled bitterly. "Prince, Guhai's shop was robbed and smashed. It is indeed very satisfying, but how should this matter be characterized? Should those people who rob stores should be punished or rewarded? Is it right or wrong? Is it right or wrong?" The prince frowned. "Really?" Another staff member also said, "In this matter, let's say that the people are wrong, but the people are loyal to the country. Well, at least on the surface it seems like this, but it can be said that the people are right, and it violates the laws of the Song dynasty. No matter what, they are all acts of robbery, breaking the law, and violating the laws of the Song dynasty. Trampling the law is trampling on the royal power. Now the people in Songcheng are waiting for the court meeting tomorrow, another aide said. The prince frowned and opened his mouth. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. Right? Wrong. If the government had quickly raided the ancient Song dynasty silver shop, things would not have been so troublesome, he smiled bitterly. Now, everyone fell silent. So, should you be punished for violating the law? The prince asked subconsciously. Inappropriate. A staff member shook his head. This will only dampen the enthusiasm of the people and make these people have no sense of belonging to the Song dynasty. So, prize? The prince asked again. That's not right either. Another staff member also shook his head. This is robbery, but it is a violation of the law. It is a violation of the law, and you are rewarded. What kind of law is this? They may even turn people into bandits. This, neither rewards nor punishments work, so what should we do? The prince frowned. However, at this moment, Your Royal Highness, Mr. Tian wants to see you. Suddenly, a servant reported. Oh? Mr. Tian? That Tian Han? Let him in, the prince nodded. Soon, the so-called Tian Han in their eyes came in. Tian Han is naturally the ancient Han. Of course he came to give the prince eye drops. However, he had to pretend to be a businessman and worry about it. This matter. Then, Tian Han said something intentionally or unintentionally, and the prince's eyes became brighter and brighter when he heard it. Although the staff around him felt that there was something wrong, they finally acquiesced. Soon, it was time for the court meeting the next day. It can be seen that in the court hall, the ministers are still discussing, and their faces are red. The father-in-law is right, the mother-in-law is right. At this moment, the prince stood up and said, Father, gentlemen, we have been arguing about whether it is right or wrong for a long time. The people who robbed the ancient Song dynasty silver tower are indeed trampling on the law. Gu Hai is said to be a devil, and she has been cut off. The magic wings can be regarded as supporting justice. I have some ideas. Please listen to them. Prince, please speak, Master Pang nodded. The emperor also looked at the prince. The prince nodded, and immediately said loudly, if the people are guilty and the robbery is guilty, Prime Minister Liu, you said the most fiercely before, let me ask and you will answer. Since the people are guilty, according to what you said, how to deal with it? As he spoke, he looked at the old man who was leading the group of ministers on the far right. The old man took a step forward, looked at the prince, and said, Rang Ran will return what he robbed that day, give him a little punishment, and serve as a warning. Are the people willing to return it? The prince said calmly. Besides, it is difficult to find out who robbed and what was robbed, right? Is there still a search all over the city? At this time, how do the people treat us? Are we afraid of being beaten by Gu Hai's conspiracy? Are you still trying to recover the losses for Gu Hai now? It can be seized and not returned to Gu Hai, Prime Minister Liu frowned and said. If it is not returned to the ancient sea, it will be put into the national treasury, so what does it mean? Competing with the people for stolen goods? Is this to antagonize the Song dynasty and the people? The prince asked again. Lao Chen didn't mean this, just, Prime Minister Liu instinctively felt something was wrong, but for a moment, he didn't know what to say. Therefore, it is not possible to return Gu Hai, nor is it possible to take it back to the official government. The people were so impulsive because they hated Gu Hai. This is enough to show that the people's support can be used. At least Gu Hai's conspiracy will not be imposed on the people. Everyone will beware of Gu Hai, the prince said solemnly. Does the prince mean that the people cannot be punished? Prime Minister Liu frowned. He instinctively felt that something was wrong. However, 800,000 troops were defeated before, and now something like this happened again. For a moment, his thoughts were complicated and he didn't know how to deal with it. At this time, just listen, Prince, he said, yes, they cannot be punished. They went to the ancient Song dynasty silver tower for the sake of the Song dynasty, so naturally they cannot be punished. This, no, absolutely not. That is trampling on the law. Why should we reward it? How is this appropriate? What does this mean by law? There is no rule without rules. Once you open this door, you are allowing people to rob, Prime Minister Liu hurriedly spoke. If you mess up the rules, you will definitely not be rewarded. This is something he knows very well. However, at this time, the prince changed his topic. Prime Minister Liu, you are worrying too much. This is what I am about to say. That's right. The law is dead, but people are alive. This situation is special, so we should look at it layer by layer. Oh. Look away. What kind of dialing method? The emperor also became interested and asked. Father, I believe that we cannot look at the problem within this matter, but should look at the problem out of this frame. Everything started because of Gu Hai. All we need to do is to strip Gu Hai's shop away from the laws of our Song dynasty. From now on, Gu Hai's shops will not be protected by the laws of the Song dynasty, so the people will not be considered as violating the law. The prince smiled. At this moment, everyone looked at the prince in surprise. What he said seems to be so twofold. Prime Minister Liu and Taishi Pang also frowned. It seems that the teacher said this. Just listen, the prince said something about the support of the people, and that the Song dynasty and the people are bound to be one. But so, prince, you mean not only not to punish, but also to reward? Prime Minister Liu looked ugly. He made a decision. Anyway, he couldn't reward the people. No, there is no need to reward them with anything substantive, they just need to be pardoned. Then, he posted the newly promulgated law and said that Gu Hai's shop was not protected by Song law, but if he robbed other shops, he would be punished as well. That would be fine, the emperor said. Although Prime Minister Liu still felt something was wrong, in the end, all his retorts were blocked by the prince. No punishment or reward, that's enough. Moreover, everything was marked. Gu Hai's shop can be robbed, and other no, otherwise it would be against the law. The best of both worlds. Well, at least the prince thought so. The emperor thought so too. Grand Master Pang thought so too, and even most of the ministers thought so. In the end, Prime Minister Liu had nothing to say. This matter was decided. At the same time, the news from the court quickly spread throughout Song City. Then, the people went crazy. Boom boom boom. Every shop in Guhe was knocked down, and people rushed into the shops one after another and started looting. They said that they were following the emperor's decree to destroy all the industries in Guhe, and everyone would get a share. They not only wanted to rob, but also the thugs who beat Guhe, one by one, their eyes were red. In just one day, all the shops in Guhe were robbed by the common people. Of course, there were also some ministers' subordinates. They were already in the court and knew the outcome, so they directly sent people to strike first. In response, others just cursed in their hearts, and then the robbery became even faster. It can be said that the entire Song city has fallen into madness. Anyone can get a share of this gluttonous feast. Anyone who doesn't grab it is stupid. After all, the emperor has decreed that Guhe's shops are not protected by law. Robbery of Guhe is robbery of the enemy. Who wouldn't rob? There was no use closing the door, it just got smashed open. The whole Songchen was in chaos. Gu Hai and Gu Han walked on the street, looking at the smoke billowing from various shops, fires everywhere, and crazy screams. Gu Hai smiled bitterly. Father, our Gu Mansion's financial losses this time are not small. Loss? Haha, do you think I will suffer losses? Gu Hai chuckled. So does it, Gu Han nodded. With Gu Hai's prestige, even if he has no money, he can just find a bank and countless people will lend him money. Of course, this is nothing. Foster father, think about it, shops in other cities will be robbed soon, right? The ancient Han suddenly asked. Yes, a single spark can start a prairie fire. Now that Song City has been torn open, other cities will soon follow suit. Even now, some people have started to attack shops in other cities, Gu Hai said calmly. Sure enough, with the flying pigeons passing the message, and the interested people going to other cities, in just a few days, the entire Song dynasty was in chaos. The people, officers and soldiers, people in the house, and even passers-by all began to get a share of the pie. All began to rob Gu Hai's shops. It can be said that Gu Hai's shops in Song State were robbed in just a few days and completely turned into ruins. However, there is a problem with this robbery after all. Since it is robbery, then there are several distinctions. Some people are quick and some are dark, and they rob a lot and are satisfied. But some people are slow and cannot rob others, so they feel resentful and unwilling to do so, so they still want to rob. However, Gu Hai's shop was stolen again. The robbery is over. After 2 days of madness, the cities finally calmed down. In Song City, the civil and military officials of the court finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, no accidents occurred. Moreover, after checking, it was discovered that, as expected, the people were robbed. The only shop in Gu Hai was fine, and everything else was fine. This shows that the people still abide by the law and have not turned into a mob. At this, the prince smiled, the emperor also laughed, and even the civil and military officials of the court laughed. However, above the court, the people are the people. The court believes that this matter should be over. But the people are still not satisfied, and they all started to complain that there are too few shops in Gu Hai, not enough for them to grab. Even, people who used to look down on them all grabbed more than them, and their hearts were unbalanced. Some people regretted it and wished they could do it all over again. They must grab a big one. In short, those who got it were complacent, and those who didn't got it were complaining. Regret. It is because of the uneven distribution of wealth in 3.4 that there is such a psychological gap. In just a few days, grab and go. However, at this moment, Gu Hai made another move in seconds. The secret shops have also been moved to the public surface. Let others know that Gu Hai has hidden industries. Now, countless people are even more crazy. They have found 6 hidden industries of Gu Hai, such as jade shops, utensil shops. In short, they uncovered all the hidden properties of Gu Hai and robbed them all. Countless people were excited and ecstatic. They also grabbed countless treasures, such as priceless jade ruyi, jade bracelets, etc. If you grab any one, you can eat it for the rest of your life. But there are still countless people who are upset, because there are only 6 properties, and not everyone can grab it. Those who haven't grabbed it are regretful and a little anxious. Those who haven't grabbed it are obviously the majority. These 6 shops, obviously it is not enough to satisfy the appetite of these people. They are like lonely ghosts, wandering on the streets, looking everywhere, wanting to find another hidden property of Gu Hai. Bright gold shop? So much gold. If only this was Gu Hai's industry too. Suddenly, someone looked at a gold shop nearby. Looking at the gold inside, his eyes immediately turned red, full of jealousy. However, these words fell into the ears of others. What? Gu Hai's industry? Where? Where? Which is Gu Hai's industry? Gu Hai's industry? Oh shit. Finally found it, it turns out this is Gu Hai's property. Grab it? I didn't get it before, but I must get it this time. At this moment, countless people ran towards the Mingliang gold shop like crazy. The owner of the Mingliang gold shop changed his face and shouted anxiously, I'm not, Mingliang gold shop is not an ancient sea industry, don't mess around. However, No one paid attention to him. The people have become bandits. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 202. Good guy, the Song dynasty is over. This ancient sea is so terrifying. Gao Xianzi was played with by the applause. Now, the Song dynasty is also played with by the applause. Haha, those people in the court really think too highly of these common people. Once a habit is formed, how can one break it? The people have become bandits. Tisk tisk, it's over, the Song dynasty is completely over. This ancient sea is too scary. If I were to face this ancient sea, I can't even imagine it. Alas, don't underestimate yourself. What about the ancient sea? I feel that Gu Hai's method of manipulating people's hearts is fine for dealing with a country, but how can he deal with a person who doesn't listen to him and just slaps him in the face? Indeed, when dealing with such a person, you cannot listen to what he says, just slap him in the face and turn him into ashes. In just 2 months, the Chen state was revitalized, and the Song state was pushed to the brink of destruction. Tisk tisk. I laughed, this is the Song dynasty. A group of people can't beat Gu Hai alone? How did you become the Grand Master and the Prime Minister? There is no way. How can you see through the situation when you are in the middle of it? Then Prime Minister Liu is pretty good and knows that he can't be rewarded, but to be honest, this really can't be punished. All we can say is that they overestimated the hearts of the people. If Gu Hai's shops were copied and distributed equally, this kind of thing wouldn't happen. At this time, countless people were talking and sighing. You can see that the scene changes again and again. There is no doubt that because of the robbery of Ming Liang's store, more stores have been robbed. Not to mention those stores, even some wealthy businessmen were robbed. The common people claimed that these were Gu Hai's hidden shops, and that the wealthy merchants were Gu Hai's secret manor. In short, the entire Song city was in chaos. Countless people were wailing. These people were just like bandits, they rushed out as soon as the door was opened and robbed them all. This incident quickly alarmed the court. However, they were powerless. Not to mention the common people, even the soldiers were robbing. The 6 hidden shops in Gu Hai led to more shops were robbed. It was simply terrifying. All the people were red-eyed. They had tasted the taste of robbery. Who would stop? Rob. Just rob and that's it? How so? How so? The prince's face was ugly. How could he have imagined that it would turn out like this? He was fine for the past 2 days, everything was calm, but why did he go crazy? Why did he go crazy? The prince has a headache, and he really can't figure it out. Ah, it's Gu Hai, it's Gu Hai's conspiracy. Suddenly, the prince screamed. What a mess. This prince was also completely spoiled by Gu Hai. At this moment, everyone in the Song kingdom was a bandit, and people were in chaos. Houses everywhere were burning in the fire, and the thick smoke billowed, and everywhere in the border city was like a purgatory on earth, with screams, despair, and fighting sounds endless. In the ancient sea, one person can destroy 6 countries. This is the terrifying thing about the ancient sea. For 3 days, this gluttonous feast lasted for 3 days. In these 3 days, all the shops were destroyed, yes, all the shops in the entire Song dynasty. At this moment, the whole country was dead. The people could not buy anything, and the shop owners were in mourning. This second battle, mourning the hearts of the people, can be considered completed. Of course, there is the third step, mourning the hearts of the ministers. Immediately, countless people in the world saw the shop owners running to the palace to complain, crying, and shouting. There are more and more people, and it is out of control. For those who don't know, I thought that the entrance to the palace has become a vegetable market. It is noisy, countless people are crying, and countless people are sad. Some people even testified that it was Tai Shi Pang's servant who entered. They robbed their shops and entered their homes to rob. But this time, Tai Shi Pang's appearance was really ugly. More than half of Gu Hei's shops went into his pocket. The same was true for other shops, and even some rich merchants' estates. More than half of it went into his pocket. It can be said that he made a lot of money. But now, something happened. Of course, the first few people who came to complain were all people arranged by the ancient Han dynasty. Because, the next person to complain, more and more people, not only Song City, but people from all over the country and cities will also rush to Song City to complain. That Grand Master Pang deserved his punishment, and his appearance was too ugly. These days, he directed all his servants and subordinates to rob and fish in troubled waters. Haha, fortunately, it was all recorded. The ancient Han laughed and said. I didn't expect that Master Pang was so greedy. Gu Hai chuckled. It doesn't matter if he is greedy, but Master Pang is simply worse than a beast and has caused countless little girls harm, the ancient Han said with hatred, his eyes full of coldness. So, retribution is coming, Gu Hai sneered. But, foster father, will the emperor really kill Grand Master Pang? After all, he is his teacher, the ancient Han said with some worry. Even his own grandson can be killed without fail, let alone a minister, Gu Hai said lightly. Gu Han nodded. Presumably, the news of Chen Jun's entry into the Song Kingdom has spread to the court, right, the quiet road of the ancient sea. It should be coming soon. When the boy saw the 800 miles, he hurriedly rushed into the palace, the ancient Han said. But at this time, the front line was completely defeated. Chen Lianji led the army and rampaged all the way. He quickly conquered the lost territory and reached the Song border in a blink of an eye. The most important thing is that the Song border, each and every one of those cities had no resistance. There was no such resistance at all, so they were directly destroyed. The city gates were opened wide, and Chen Lianji led tens of thousands of people to drill through them. In this situation, it is necessary to unite the people and at least form an effective defense. Even a little resistance will do. However, the people are like this, and they are expected to protect their homes and the country. What a joke! When they start to trample on the law, the Song dynasty has already been in their hearts. It doesn't matter anymore. Those who got the advantage naturally don't care about the Song state. And those who suffered the loss began to resent the Song state. At this time, we can only win over those who have suffered the loss and appease those who have suffered the loss. How to appease? Go and return all those things to those who have suffered losses. Who will do it? Who is willing to spit out the meat that is eaten in his mouth? How to appease him? Of course it is to hold accountable. Find the main person responsible, and then kill to vent his anger, which is shocking. And this person, in order to stabilize the situation, the emperor can kill anyone. Even the prince, he can kill. At this time, there is indeed such a heated argument in the court. But, what can be done? For the current plan, we can only appease the grievances of some people and resist Chen Jun. And appease, such appeasement? The emperor wanted to appease, but how to appease him like this? At this time, just listen, Prime Minister Lu said, Your Majesty, now it is obviously impossible to return the finances. It is too late. If you want to appease, the only way is to kill the culprit. The culprit? The culprit is Gu Hai, the emperor frowned. Yes, if you can't find them, you can only look downwards. Who suggested that people should be turned into bandits? Then who should be held responsible? Prime Minister Lu said. As soon as these words came out, the prince's face turned dark. Prime Minister Lu, do you want to kill me? The prince's face looked ugly. Prime Minister Lu paused, then smiled bitterly and said, The prince is for the continuation of the country, so you should not kill him lightly, otherwise it will make things worse. Master Pang, you were the first to support the prince's proposal. Moreover, this time, you robbed the most. Now that the Song dynasty is in chaos, you cannot escape the blame. Prime Minister Lu, what do you mean? You want to kill me? Master Pang's face changed. Prime Minister Lu didn't say anything, just looked at Master Pang. Everyone around him also looked at Master Pang with strange expressions. Finally, you. Master Pang was furious, and immediately pointed at everyone and shouted, which of you didn't send someone to rob it? Why are you blaming me? But no one looks as ugly as you. As he said that, Prime Minister Lu also took out a piece of paper with charges against Taishi Pang. Then, Prime Minister Lu saluted Taishi Pang and said loudly, I beg Taishi Pang to die for me, the Song dynasty. As soon as these words were said, there was silence for a moment, and soon the officials also bowed and shouted, Please go to death, Taishi Pang. You, Master Pang staggered 2 steps. Immediately, he looked at the emperor unwillingly. However, the emperor sighed deeply and closed his eyes. Come on, he. Master Pang was desperate, but he smiled bitterly. I have been the emperor of the Song dynasty for 3 dynasties and worked hard for the Song dynasty for 70 years. Now, I have ended up like this. That's it. The veteran has already stepped into the coffin with half a foot. Now, I hope that my sacrifice can bring good luck to the Song dynasty. With that said, Master Pang took off the black gauze hat on his head and strode out of the court. Sure enough, the next day, Master Pang was beheaded. Moreover, his house was confiscated by the emperor, and all the stolen goods were returned to the damaged businessmen. After leaving, Master Pang was beheaded. This incident can be said to have brought back some of the hearts of the king of Song dynasty. Unfortunately, Chenjun has been destroyed and captured one city after another. Each city was already weakly defended and had no courage to fight. Now seeing Chen, the momentum of the army was like a rainbow, like an army of tigers and wolves, and each one became more frightened and frightened. Therefore, Chen Lianji, leading the army, had a little resistance at the beginning, but as he went to the back, it became more and more weird. Because, he had not yet when they arrived, the city gate opened, and the officials welcomed them with great enthusiasm. Chen Lianji was confused at first, but soon realized that Gu Hai must have done something in it, which caused the city gate to open so strangely. What a sight! He just led the army all the way to Song City. When the emperor of Song heard the news, he was even more stupid. He killed Taishi Pang, and even imprisoned the prince because of public anger. As a result, Chen Liangyi called. At this time, among the ministers, a piece of inexplicable accusations appeared in their hands. It clearly stated how they commanded their subordinates and how they robbed property. It was even more detailed than what Grand Master Pang had at the beginning. Now, all the ministers were desperate and terrified. What to do? What would happen if this thing were passed to the emperor? His Majesty even killed Grand Master Pang, let alone them. So, what else can be done? Kaikan, of course, opened the door and let Chen Lianji in. In fact, this is also the choice of the city lords of the major cities. But when it is their turn, it is different, because this is the imperial city. So, at this moment, the minister's eyes showed fierceness. Then, under the leadership of Prime Minister Lu, the ministers entered the palace hall. Prime Minister Lu, you are here. What should we do about the current situation? I heard that Chen Jun can reach Songcheng in less than 5 days. The emperor was a little helpless. All the ministers looked at each other. Immediately, Prime Minister Lu took a step forward and said in a deep voice, Your Majesty, I'm offended. The emperor was confused. Come, capture His Majesty, open the city gate, and welcome King Chen into the city. Prime Minister Lu gave the order, and immediately. Wow, at this moment, all the soldiers entered the hall instantly, and all the ministers also looked at the emperor with eager eyes. Changed, at this moment, Emperor Song's face completely changed. His heart was completely lost. The Song kingdom was destroyed at this moment. The king of Song had his hands tied and was given to King Chen Lianji. At this moment, everyone in the world looked at the scene with complicated expressions. 2 months, only 2 months, this ancient sea brought down a country. It's only been 2 months, it's so scary, this ancient sea is so scary. Cruel, simply cruel, this Guhei seemed to be playing tricks on everyone, completely numb. Worry, I was completely shocked. If Guhei were an enemy, there would be no need to fight, he would just surrender. Countless people said, looking at Guhei, they were really horrified. Guhei didn't even show up, and just 523 brought down a country. His strategy was simply superb. At this moment, it was seen that Huayna twist. Although his body was weak, he finally got through it, and he also stepped into the innate realm as he wished. At this moment, he returned to his youth, and his physique underwent astonishing changes, so terrifying. At this moment, you can see that the picture turns again and again. In the picture, lines of divine lines suddenly appear. The third place's IQ crushes the golden finger. One of the representative figures, Eternal World Ancient Sea. On his 30th birthday, he came to the land of God because of a mysterious chess piece. Due to his physical condition, he was trapped in the realm of perfection and could not break through. After wasting 40 years, on his 70th birthday, his destiny changed and he sang all the way. Brave and diligent. He destroyed the Song dynasty, entered the Xiantian, broke the end of the game, and fought for the ancient demon name in the 9 5-year plan. In Silver Moon City, there is a Qin club, a Go Chen competition, a turmoil in Qin, chess, calligraphy, and painting. In the land of China, King Liu Yang, Blood Prison Yuan, I am the emperor and my heart is heaven. Qinatian dynasty, fighting against heroes, Halloween meeting, the Warring States period, bloodstained six-path immortals. On the road to the imperial dynasty, watch the chess move, turn around time and space, and fight the six paths again to finally make history. Swallowing the 4 directions, the divine power is in prison, the destiny is manifested, and the divine way is boundless in the mountains. The name of the ancient demon spread throughout the heavens. Hereby, give out rewards. Buzz. At this moment, as the divine patterns condensed into golden light, in the blink of an eye, the light fell in front of Guhai. At this time, in the picture, Guhai was on a search for the immortal boat, and seemed to be planning to go to the innate endgame. Now he is still in the innate state. However, the more golden light entered Guhai's body, the aura on Guhai's body was extremely compressed at this moment. Although he was still innate, it carried a terrifying power. Innate killing the nascent soul is not a problem. At the same time, his wisdom has also been greatly strengthened at this moment. His biggest golden finger is his own wisdom, so the strengthening of this golden finger is his wisdom. Countless people looked at the scene and felt toothache. Guhai was already terrifying, but now with this wisdom, wouldn't it mean that his wisdom is almost demonic? Guhai, thank you to Deo. At this moment, Guhai saluted towards the golden list of the great Deo. And around him, Gao Xianzi and the people from the immortal sect looked at Guhai with strange expressions on their faces. Who would have thought that Guhai was also the son of fate? They were in a trance. Countless people in the heavens and worlds, what else did the person want to say? However, at this moment, a new divine pattern appeared in the picture. The third place, one of the representative figures of the IQ-crushing golden finger, is finished. The second representative figure of the third IQ-crushing golden finger, let's start taking stock. The second representative figure of the third IQ-crushing golden finger, Wanjie in the information world. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 203. Information World, Wanjie. At this moment, countless people looked at the divine patterns in the picture, and they were all surprised. The second one is here. I don't know if this second one can compare to the ancient sea in front. To be honest, I think that the IQ is overwhelming. I feel that Guhai is already a ceiling existence. With one person, he can play with a country in the palm of his hand. Gee, I don't know what kind of existence this Wanjie will be. An existence that is almost as intelligent as a demon. To be honest, I really don't know how Wanjie will surpass Guhai in any aspect. I don't know. Speaking of which, this is already the second part. Is there any third part? I don't know about part 3, but now part 2, I feel, maybe it's not as good as Guhai. Not as good as Guhai? Laughing to death, among those listed on the previous list, which one below is not the person who can take the lead? Not as good? Impossible. Since they are all on the list, there is no such thing as inferiority. The world Wanjie lives in, the information world, why does it feel like a science fiction world? Science fiction world? Tech world? To be honest, I don't want to see the world of technology. It's so different from our world. Hey, I just love watching the world of technology. At this time, countless people were discussing. At the same time, in the world of Jishan. Guhai, Wanjie, IQ crushing class, Yefan squinted his eyes and looked at the Avenue Golden list. To be honest, after seeing Guhai again, he felt that if this kind of person were to become his enemy, he would have to kill him as soon as possible, and then, let's talk about other things. This kind of person's IQ is really too incredible to kill a person. The country is playing with applause, which is simply terrifying. If you were to face this kind of person, you wouldn't even know how you would die. Although it is only the wisdom of mortals, Guhai is also a time traveler, and he has fully demonstrated the art of war and deception. If this kind of person becomes stronger again, it will be even more terrifying. If you don't kill this kind of person in advance, you won't feel at ease. Yefan thinks to himself that he is not a fool, but he also does not think that he is an intelligent and almost demonic being. It is this kind of person that he is afraid of. As the saying goes, if you don't win over this kind of person, you will kill him. Just like the counselors of the 3 kingdoms he knew. Kill the counselor first. The strong generals can be placed in the back to fight. If it matches, Yefan took a deep breath, his eyes filled with uncertainty. At the same time, in the world of fighting spirit. Well, if I want strength, I can't compare with it. If I want wisdom, I can't compare with wisdom. What the hell am I doing? Xiao Yan looked at the Daojin list and almost vomited blood in depression. Everyone is also a time traveler, and has been influenced by 5,000 years of culture, but some people can stir up the wind and clouds, are as smart as demons, and are extremely proficient in the art of war and the use of 36 strategies. Although he is also a time traveler and knows the 36 strategies, whether he can use them is another matter. This is the difference between people. Not all time travelers are heaven-defying. Xiao Yan smiled bitterly, feeling extremely disappointed for a moment. Others want strength, and brains, but what about you? There are more and more strong people. If you don't want to be the first to be eliminated, boy, you have to work hard. Yao Zun's voice sounded faintly. Although he hasn't said what will happen in the future, anyone with any brains knows that something big will definitely happen in the future. And Xiao Yan, currently, seems to be at the bottom. Look, what are you doing now? Yao Zun was a little speechless. Oh? I'm collecting King Lian's inner fire, Xiao Yan subconsciously said. Just calm down the fire. Damn it, what does it matter to Medusa? Yao Zun was a little speechless. Ah. Xiao Yan looked at Medusa beside her and scratched her head in embarrassment. Hey, teacher, go get stronger now, go right now. Don't worry, distance Dozun is almost here. When you become a Dozun, you become a Do Sage, and after you become a Do Sage, you become a Do Emperor. As long as I have the cultivation of Emperor Do and the help of God's flame, I won't believe it anymore. Xiao Yan clenched her fists and looked at the great Dao golden list, with blazing flames in her eyes. He still doesn't believe that he is at the bottom and first from last. At this time, the Gu world. Buzz, Gu Yufang Yuan's aura rippled, and his level 8 cultivation level faintly fluctuated. Another Gu worm was collected. He looked at the Dao golden list, with a smile on his lips. Intelligent and almost demonic. Time traveler? I really want to compete with you. Gu Yufang Yuan was a little playful. He didn't say how wise he was, nor did he say whether he was as intelligent as a demon. He only knew that his 500 years of accumulation were real. If 5 years after 100 years of accumulation, he can't do anything for a 70-80-year-old old man, so he can stop living. Everyone is a time traveler, and everyone has been influenced by 5,000 years of culture. Why can he live hundreds of years longer than others? Lose to that Gu Hai? Such a smart person. Gu Yufang Yuan's eyes are deep. If there is a threat to him now, except for the existence whose strength is too incredible, perhaps it is only that Gu Hai. Han Li and others don't take it lightly. Under the same strength, wisdom is the existence that determines everything. At this time, the mortal world and the spiritual world. Boom, the aura fluctuations on Han Li's body spread. His soul turned into a virtual shadow, his spiritual roots and 5 elements merged into one, and he seemed to be integrated with the heaven and earth. Refining the void? Call, Han Li let out a long breath. He has become weak. I don't know what state Wang Lin is in. Ancient Sea, Ancient Moon Fang Yuan, Han Li narrowed his eyes. The number one enemy was Gu Yufang Yuan before, but now he has to add Gu Hai. Of these two guys, one is cold and ruthless, and has possessed a demonic nature. They will do anything and will not show any mercy. And the other one is almost demonic in intelligence, playing with everything and controlling everything in his hands. These two types of people are really difficult to deal with. If they are facing each other, kill Gu Hai first, and then kill Gu Yufang Yuan. The kind that doesn't listen to anything you say. This is how you deal with smart people. Only. I don't know what kind of person this Wanjie is. Han Li looked at the Dao golden list, his intelligence is almost demonic. To be honest, he hoped that there would be fewer enemies like this. Well, we can't say they are enemies. Anyway, these people on the list are all opponents. At this moment, countless people from all over the world looked at the great Dao golden list, and all of them felt a little stressed. It's real pressure. There are many smart people in all the worlds. But there are really very few people who can really evaluate the existence that is almost as intelligent as a demon. Is Gu Yufang Yuan smart? Smart, of course smart. But in fact, it was accumulated over 500 years. His golden finger is not that he is almost a demon, but that he is reborn. Ye Fan, Han Li, Su Yu, etc. are also smart people. However, people are smart, but gold finger is not that IQ crushing. When a person's golden finger is IQ, there is no doubt that it is difficult to surpass. Countless people were thinking, and at the same time, they also looked at the Dao golden list. They first wanted to know what kind of person Wanjie was this time. At this time, they saw that in the picture, new lines of divine patterns appeared. That's a background description of this world. This is indeed a technological world. It's an ordinary technological world without any magic, any strangeness, or any superpowers. In this world, there is only technology. Well, at least for now. And in this world, different time and space dimensions are also divided. Starting from 0 dimension, all the way to 9-dimensional space and time. 0 dimension is a point, everything is compressed inward. One-dimensional string dimension, with 2 positive directions, is the root of the density law. Two-dimensional membrane dimension, with 4 positive directions, is the root of the frequency law. 6 dimensions, the 6-dimensional suspended cube dimension has 12 positive directions and is the source of spiritual consciousness, the soul see, and the law of cause and effect. Collectively referred to as the material origin of the soul. 7 dimensions, the 7-dimensional cuboid dimension has 14 positive directions and is the source of all mass in the universe. The origin of cause and effect is played in the hand like an entity. 8 dimensions, the 8-dimensional polar cube dimension has 16 positive directions and is the source of all energy in the universe. Many laws are played in the hands like entities. 9 dimensions, the 9-dimensional hypercube dimension has 18 positive directions, which are the vertices of space and time, the dimension of time series, and the dimension of entropy. It is the origin of space and time, the physical sequence is within reach, and the end of the universe is visible to the naked eye. And within each dimension, there are different dimensional light cones. For example, the origin of life was born in 3 dimensions, but that does not mean that there is only one 3-dimension, because in 3 dimensions, there are also different dimensional light cones. Such as, 3 dimensions, 3.1 dimensions, 3.12 dimensions, 3.13 dimensions, 3.14, etc. Each dimension has a different world and a different civilization. It's a bit similar to the concept of parallel worlds, of course, just similar, not exactly. Each layer of dimensional space-time has a maximum limit of 10 and 24 squares. However, there are only 129,600 light cones that breed life in 3-dimensional space-time, and the other dimensions are all dead space-time. Silly. At this moment, countless people were dumbfounded, and then their scalps went numb. Worry, what the hell is this? 3-dimensional? 4 dimensions. I'm so numb. My goodness, just looking at these technological things gives me a huge headache. I didn't like science before, but now, seeing this again, I feel stupid. Can you explain it? Who can understand this? What is the origin of quark matter? The material origin of color charge? The soul is fine, and the karma is fine, but I really can't understand these two. So, what is a quark? What are color-charged substances? Quarks are browsers, and color charges are colored lotuses. Damn it, illiterate. Don't you understand this? Quarks are elementary particles. In our universe, from small to large, the size rankings of these elementary particles are phonons, strigons, quarks, quanta, photons, electrons, neutrons, protons, atoms, and molecules. As for molecules, objects are all made up of molecules. Take a drop of water as an example. It takes 21 water molecules to form the smallest drop of water. A molecule may contain dozens or even hundreds of atoms. An atom can contain up to 117 protons. Of course, there are also neutrons. One proton contains many neutrons and protons. A proton is more than 1,800 times larger than an electron. As for quarks, their spatial scale is the smallest among microscopic particles. It is about less than 10 to the minus 19th power. The spirit sun and the string sun are only theoretical existences. We still don't know what the string sun is, and we don't know all its information. The spirit sun is probably the smallest substance. Of course, it is just a concept. It is considered that all the spirits in a universe are add up to less than 1 gram. Tisk, even though I can't understand it, it looks so awesome. So, Can I think that in three-dimensional space and time, controlling the quark level is equivalent to a saint in our world? Mastering quarks is equivalent to mastering everything in the three-dimensional universe. This kind of person, task-tisk, is outrageous, simply outrageous. Damn it, I'm so confused. I can't understand it at all. Can I understand that ascending the dimension is equivalent to ascension? Well, it can be understood as the concept of ascension, but it is different. Anyway, it's pretty much the same. What is the color-charged substance? Color-charged matter has a strong interaction relationship with quarks. I can't understand it anymore, I'm already numb. Anyway, just think of it as ascending to a higher world, that's probably what it means. No, I can still understand this from 1 to 3 dimensions, which are nothing more than points, lines, planes, and cubes. But what is this fourth dimension? Cuboid. What the hell is this? There are also those stacked cubes, cuboids, 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 tesseracts. I'm already dizzy. I can probably think of what the four-dimensional model is. A simple example is that there are cubes in the cube. This is the cube. The stacked body of the five-dimensional model is probably a stack of boxes. There are cubes inside the cubes, and there are cubes outside the cubes. This is the stacked body. The six-dimensional model of the cube and the various dimensions upward are a bit difficult for me to describe, a bit abstract. Anyway, you just need to know that any particle in 4 dimensions contains 3 dimensions. Any particle in 5 dimensions contains 4 dimensions. Any particle in 6 dimensions contains 5 dimensions. Any particle in 7 dimensions contains 6 dimensions. Well, so on and so forth. Good guy, I'm really confused. Stupid, I'm stupid too. So, if you want to go super-dimensional, just keep getting bigger. This saying, well, there is some truth to it, but it doesn't make much sense. Well, with your IQ, you can understand this too. I don't want to discuss dimensions anymore. What surprises me is that within one dimension, there are countless smaller dimensions. How vast is this cosmology? This is the real universe, this is the serious universe. Are 3D, 3.1D, and 3.12D okay? If that's the case, wouldn't there be 2 dimensions, 2.1 dimensions? 2.2 dimensions. Even, there are 4.1 dimensions, etc. Well, that can probably be understood, right? Doesn't that mean that with the 3.9999 infinite loop dimension, one can ascend to the 4th dimension anytime and anywhere? Not to mention, it's possible. At this time, countless people are discussing. This time the setting of the universe has really aroused the interest of countless people in the world. At the same time, it has also given countless people a headache. At this time, it can be seen that in the picture, the divine pattern appeared, young. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 204. The new divine pattern is for the so-called combat power system corresponding to this world. Countless people are observing attentively, wanting to know what kind of system this technology side is like. Soon, all the heavens and worlds will see it. In this universe, since it is on the technological side, it is natural to focus on the development of civilization, followed by one's own abilities. This world has very distinct civilization divisions. Taking the Earth as an example, the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, Steam Age, Electricity Age, etc. are not civilizations. A truly recognized civilization can only be called a civilization if it is able to adapt to the environment and thrive after leaving its home planet. Because, only in this way will the genocide not be caused by the destruction of natural disasters. Of course, this kind of civilization cannot be without any value. However, among the Cosmic Star Alliance, it can only be called original civilization. After that, after entering the universe, civilizations were divided into different levels according to technology. Nanotechnology, from macro technology at the beginning, it gradually expanded to nanotechnology. Nanotechnology does not mean that you can create a nanowire to be considered a nanotechnology civilization, but that you can control your own home planet, truly use nanometers, and finally combine nanorobots into a pair of armor, which is the most basic entry standard. Atomic technology has gone from the nanometer to the picometer level. You can play with atoms at will, change the atomic sequence at will, and you can already control your own stars. For example, it is equivalent to the fact that people on Earth can already control the solar system. But this level of civilization is not a great civilization after all. It can only be said to be the lowest civilization. Micron technology, this level of civilization has reached the Fermi level and can change atomic nuclei at will. The technology of atomic civilization, in the eyes of a civilization of this level, can destroy all weapons and warships just by casually changing the atomic nucleus. This level of civilization has already begun to expand into countless star systems. It can be called the master of the galaxy and a truly advanced civilization. Unified force technology, the so-called unified force is a true mechanical structure. It has reached the AMI level and can already arrange basic particles at will. It is also considered a top existence in the galaxy. The unifying force is the unification of the four basic forces, namely gravity, electromagnetic force, strong force, and weak force. And achieving the unification of the four basic forces is the introduction to the civilization of unified forces. A civilization at this level can already convert mass into energy and create huge amounts of energy. You can even create wormholes, even create quantum bodies, generate antimatter, and condense various forms of materials. Later, with the development of science and technology, as the technology gradually matured, on the basis of unifying the technological civilization, a new level has been divided. From entry to early stage, from early stage to prime stage, from prime stage to peak stage. 947 among them, the early unified force civilization, has begun to master dark matter proficiently, can control technology in the field of dark energy, has spiritual consciousness, and also possesses virtual particle technology. Even though we are countless light years apart, we can strike. The unification power civilization in its heyday, with more stable high-dimensional communication, it can communicate over long distances with the help of high dimensions. Even if it is separated by countless light years and countless regions, it can communicate in an instant, and even without delay. Ultra-long distance communication means a large-scale strike. The civilization at this time is already considered top-notch and is called the Overlord. You can even use dark elements skillfully and create dark element technology weapons and machinery. Even dark matter and light matter can be transformed at will. As for the productivity of civilization? Haha, the entire universe is a factory, and anything can be created in a vacuum. Peak unified power civilization, after reaching this level, technological development has reached the peak of what can be considered the true basic mechanics. Force field fusion. What electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force. Even the weak nuclear force, gravity. Even the spiral force, inflation force, divine consciousness force, etc. are all integrated. Can transform all things at will, and is proficient in all production technologies. The peak unified civilization is the real master. It is the supreme. After passing the threshold of unified force, there are new technologies even higher, which are quantum technology. And the civilization that possesses this technology is also called the quantum limit civilization. The dimensions of this level of civilization can be mature. The so-called dimensional technology means that it can increase or decrease the dimension in an entire dimension. Let's use 3 dimensions as an example. The dimensionality increase here is not from 3 dimensions to 4 dimensions, but from 3.1 dimensions to 3.2 dimensions, or to 3.11 dimensions, a powerful dimensional civilization can even peel off other dimensions and reduce the target to 2 dimensions. One dimension is a whole. All dimensions are considered hostile. Because if you want to improve a dimension again, you have to either ascend the dimension to a higher dimension to acquire the technology there, or reduce the dimension and acquire the technology there. This is not a leap in a large dimension, but an increase or decrease in a small dimension. Therefore, there is no possibility of the high dimension crushing the humble. Each different small dimension has corresponding technology. All dimensions, dimensionality improvement and dimensionality reduction, have only one purpose. First, it is a superbody. The so-called superbody means that it understands more than 80% of the data of its own dimension and can regard itself as a part of the universe. Turn on information query to view all information in the entire dimension. But you cannot successfully study all the data in a universe by yourself. You have to obtain the technologies of different civilizations from other dimensions. This is why rocks from other mountains can attack jade. After obtaining the superbody, it can be regarded as one step closer to the star god. But if you want to become a star god, you must have a super soul and space-time particles. The super soul can already be separated from the soul and returned. The consciousness will never fade away and the memory is infinite. But in this step, the mortality rate is extremely high. If you want to become a super soul, you have to kill yourself, do it right, and become a super soul. If you don't kill it correctly, you will die immediately. The kind of death that is complete annihilation. Everything depends on luck and confidence. If you have a super soul, that's easy to say. It is very simple to get space-time particles. You can get space-time fragments by smashing the vacuum. The space-time fragments can be converted into space-time particles. After fusing the space-time particles, you can become a star god. Super civilizations with star gods can basically master all the causes and effects of their own time and space, are proficient in all knowledge, and know all the information in their own dimension. Even if you have never thought of technology, you can learn it just by looking at it. In some ways, it can be considered omniscient. Even controlling time is not a problem. In front of the star god, time is just a tool that can be played with at will. It can be accelerated, decelerated, or stopped with ease. The star god who has reached this stage can already be regarded as the apex of the dimension. Going one step further is the real dimensionality enhancement. 4 dimensions. However, if you want to ascend to the 4th dimension, you must have a superdimensional brain. A civilization that can ascend to a dimension is called a civilization that ascends to a dimension. This dimension is not only 4 dimensions, but also 5 and 6 dimensions. After ascending to the 4th dimension, you can distort the 3-dimensional world at will, control everything, and tamper with humble matter at will. If the 4-dimensional life is dimensionally reduced, it will be a real crushing everything and knowing everything. Regardless of whether you are in the 3.1 dimension or the 3.999 dimension, you cannot cause any harm to 4-dimensional life. This is no longer the difference between ants and elephants. In the eyes of the 4th dimension, the 3rd dimension is the person in the painting, tear it apart at will. And 5 dimensions and 6 dimensions are like stacking boxes. The 5th dimension can distort the 4th dimension at will. The 6 dimensions can distort the 5 dimensions at will. The black hole is no longer a terrifying Jedi, but just a means. For an ordinary creature, the limit is 6 dimensions. If you want to transcend the 7th dimension, you need artificial natural origin. And this man-made natural origin must comply with 3 basic laws of mechanics, 3 laws of energy and matter, and 1 main law. Among them, there are only 9 kinds of natural sources that can be created. There are 10 of each, that is, 90 basic laws of natural physics. If you get 10, it is a 1-dimensional law, if you get 2, it is a 2-dimensional law, and so on. However, because this is man-made, collisions will inevitably occur, and more complex laws, technologies, and materials will be derived. This is not something naturally formed, it is a black technology that transcends nature. If you carry a black technological law, you can be regarded as an evil god. Shishao is the one yuan evil god. 20 articles are the dual evil gods. By analogy, when you reach the 9 yuan evil god, you can transcend. In fact, it is essentially the same as the path to transcendence from the 9 elements law. But there are only so many rules, and only collisions can lead to new paths. Therefore, most of the powerful people follow the path of evil gods. However, this is only a theoretical way. Because 6 UN is the limit of normal intelligent life. And there is still a void life in the universe, and the limit of the void life is only 8 UN. Dimension promotion is far away. It is not impossible to become Juyuan. But we have to take another path, that is, turn our wisdom into ultimate wisdom, or perfect wisdom. And if you want to become the ultimate wisdom, you have to devour all life in an era, yes, all of them. Then, differentiate all things and become the wisdom seeds of an era, so that everything in the world has its own soul imprint. That bouquet of flowers, that piece of grass, everything that is alive and can evolve wisdom, is a part of him. When they mature, when they grow, when the universe is destroyed, and then merge into one, they can transform into the ultimate wisdom. Because at that time, he had already controlled everything and had everyone's wisdom. That him is still him, and he will not become someone else's. At this stage, you can finally increase your dimension again. 7 dimensions. The so-called 7 dimensions have controlled all physical laws and all cause and effect. It really means that you can follow your words, just like the legendary God, who can change everything at will. Similarly, 7-dimensional life can also rub 6 dimensions at will. What kind of evil God is not enough to look at in front of him? And wanting to increase the dimension is much easier than before. You only need to use zero-mass space-time to build your body into a space-time body, and you can become 8-dimensional. 8-dimensional life can already formulate laws. As for 9 dimensions, you need to use gravity as a carrier to construct the body of time and space and become a life of space and time. Then you can become a 9-dimensional life. And above the 9 dimensions, there is a real peak. Tei. Tei is the universe, and the universe is Tei. It can distort everything at will, modify reality at will, and control the entire universe. It is Tei. This is a civilization system. Similarly, it is also a combat power system. On the science and technology side, we are following the path of civilization. Only when civilization itself is strong enough, has enough knowledge, and has enough foundation, can we carry out the so-called dimensionality upgrade and pursue the higher ultimate beauty of the universe. It's just, countless people in all the worlds looked at the so-called civilization system in the picture, and everyone fell silent. After a long time, someone quietly activated his spiritual consciousness. Waka 6 alone. Woe Ri, the civilization system and practice system of this world are so terrifying, my scalp feels numb just looking at it. I can't understand it anyway, I can't understand it at all. Damn it, how could it be like this? Worry, I'm so damn numb. Is this the technology side? Why do I feel that the technology side system is more terrifying and powerful? We cannot say that the technological side is powerful. We can only say that the technological side is different from our mysterious side. These civilizations study science, study the origin of the world, study major particles, and then modify themselves. In fact, it is the same as us cultivating immortals. Aren't we also practicing and improving ourselves? It's just that there is no concept of civilization. Technology side and mystery side, which one is better and which one is worse? The technological side emphasizes productivity and a group, while the mysterious side emphasizes the strength of individuals. It's hard to say which one is better and which one is worse. Anyway, each has its own advantages. Why do I feel that although this is the technology side, if we change those professional terms, it becomes our mysterious side? Yes, for example, replace the 4 basic forces mastered by the unified force civilization with a unified powerhouse and master the 4 laws. Transform the quantum extreme civilization into a monk in the Mahayana stage to transcend the tribulation stage, shape the super body and super soul, change it to shape the immortal body, shape the immortal soul, and change the time and space particles into immortal energy. A monk at the peak of the tribulation period transforms his body into an immortal body, transforms his soul into an immortal soul, and absorbs immortal energy. From then on, he will not fall into reincarnation and his consciousness will not be destroyed. When he absorbs enough immortal energy, he can ascend to the immortal world, 4th dimension. Of course, before ascending to the immortal realm, there is also talk about the loose immortal, which is the so-called super civilization. When you reach the 9th rank loose immortal, you will be the so-called star god. At that time, you can truly ascend. Phew, haha, I'm laughing so hard, you are really a talent. But don't say it yet. Once you explain it like this, I will understand. Tisk, tisk, hell, have you figured this all out? Hey, after ascending to the immortal world, different dimensions are equivalent to immortals who master different laws. Some immortals only master one kind of law, so they stay in the 4th dimension. Some masters more laws, and continue to ascend to the 5th and 6th dimensions. Wait until you have perfected the laws of mechanics, energy, and matter, then master some minor laws, and then start walking the path of the evil god. Tisk, equivalent conversion, this is cultivation of immortality. Good guy, it's true, it seems, something feels wrong, but nothing feels wrong at the same time. Tisk, doesn't that mean that Tei is equivalent to a saint at the level of Hideo? When the time comes, he will be the Tao, and the Tao will be him. And the 9-dimensional ultimate body below is equivalent to the legendary saint? You can create your own universe and world. As the Lord of creation. The 8-dimensional ultimate body, the law of control, the law of creation, the law of editing, should it be the pinnacle of quasi-sage. The 7-dimensional ultimate body, which controls cause and effect and follows the rules of the law, is it the legendary Delugo Jinxian? Good guy, is your Delugo Jinxian so scary? At this moment, countless people were discussing. Although the civilization system in the picture looked dazzling, but with a slight change, it seemed that there was nothing incomprehensible. Just when countless people were discussing. You see, a new picture has appeared in the Deo Gold list. In the picture, there is a young man sitting on the edge of the field, with dull eyes and dull eyes. The most important thing is that this young man's pupils are connected into a circle of white rings, like big pupils. Wearing small pupils. This is natural double pupils. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 205. Born with double pupils. At this moment, countless people in the world were stunned when they saw this young man. Damn it, double pupil? Born with double pupils? This is the young supreme. Worry, another double pupil? I thought that double pupils would only appear in the perfect plane, but I didn't expect that there would be double pupils in this science fiction world. Cowhide. Damn it, I know why Wanjie is on the list. I was born with double pupils, damn. Good guy, born with double eyes? Absolutely unbelievable. We haven't seen the magnanimous power of those with double pupil in the perfect plane before. Are we going to see the grace of those with double pupil in this technological world? Good guy, a person with double eyes is born to be supreme. I don't know what Shi will think when he sees it. Shi, everyone has double pupils, why are you the child of luck? Am I the supporting villain? People with double eyes are so rare. I finally saw another person with double eyes dash. Hee, I don't know what kind of power this double pupil has. In this world of science and technology, there should be no double pupils. What kind of power? No power? IQ can crush everything without power? No need to think about it, this Wanjie must be against the heavens. Maybe, it will be Tai in the future. Good guy, Tai, that is the body that embodies the universe, and it is the body that combines the Tao. Indeed, I feel that all children of luck can reach the corresponding level of their own world. Nonsense, that is the son of fate. Otherwise, do you think the words son of fate are a joke? At this time, countless people were discussing, because of Huangjie's natural double pupils, everyone was once again amazed. At this time, in the perfect plane, Shi Yi, who was in a dojo somewhere, looked at the young man in the picture with dull eyes, looking at the sky without a trace, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Yes, just as others thought. At this moment, he was also a little angry and speechless. Obviously everyone was a double-eyed person, but he was the villain and a supporting role, and this Huangjie was the son of fate? It's all because of Shi Hao. If it weren't for Shi Hao, he would still be the genius of his era. It's a pity. He sighed sadly. Born in the wrong era. If he were born 10,000 years earlier or 10,000 years later, he would be a true son of luck. It's a pity that there is no pity. He sighed. To be honest, at this time, he was really envious of Huangjie. At the same time, in the world of Jishan. Well, people with double eyes, I haven't seen anyone with double eyes for a long time. Yefan looked at Huangjie in the picture and was quite emotional. But, then, Yefan looked strange again. If he remembered correctly, the world Huangjie was in seemed to be just an ordinary technological world. Right? In that case, it seems that the double pupils are not as terrifying as those in the world imagined. Perhaps, the double pupils are just a disease. In the technological universe, aren't these double pupils just opposite eyes? Is it? Just because the pupils are distorted, it is just a disease. Poof, Yefan suddenly smiled. What are you laughing at? The ruthless man suddenly spoke. For it. Yefan was stunned for a moment, then laughed and said, haha, I was just laughing, this Huangjie was born in the wrong time and space, in the wrong era. How to say? The ruthless man asked curiously. Haha, in this technological universe, double pupils are just a disease, congenital cataracts. Do you think he is miserable? If placed in a fantasy world, even a low martial world, this Huangjie would not be like this. Maybe, he really is the young supreme, Yefan explained with a smile. As an earthling, he is too aware of the urinary nature of the technological system. After hearing this, the ruthless man looked at the young man in the Dao Golden List with a strange expression, tisk. It seems, indeed a bit miserable. At this time, it was not just Yefan who thought this. Xiao Yan, Gu Yufang Yuan, Li Changshao, Klein, etc., who were also time travelers, all looked at the Avenue Gold List with strange expressions. They were time travelers, he's from Earth. Naturally, he knows very well what the definition of double pupils is on Earth and in the world of science and technology. It's just a cataract, it's a disease. They looked at Huangjie with strange expressions, and felt a little sad for Huangjie. He had such double eyes, he was born in the wrong world. At this time, countless people were thinking and discussing, and at the same time, one by one continued to look at the Dao Golden List. As the scene progresses, this young man, as many people think, is Huangjie. And those double pupils don't have any magical power as most people think. They are just a disease, cataracts. Moreover, this Huangjie is a little different from normal people. At the age of 4, he still couldn't speak. When he was taken to the hospital for a checkup, it was discovered that the child had an IQ of only 50 and was slightly mentally retarded. He was a full-type intellectual retardant, abbreviated as mentally retarded. Moreover, those double pupils are indeed a disease, congenital cataracts, extremely poor strength, only 0.2 in both eyes, and there is astigmatism. Good guy, I have been suffering from diseases since I was a child. The key is that these two diseases are not easy to cure. Of course, this does not mean that a mentally retarded person is a real fool. It is just that compared with ordinary people, they may have poor concentration, poor memory, poor thinking ability and language organization skills. In this regard, the problem is actually not big. As long as someone guides and teaches you, you will become a more or less normal person in the future. But the most important thing is that when Wanjie was 5 years old, his parents had an accident while working and both died. Wanjie lost his parents since he was a child, and only his grandfather took care of him. They depended on each other, and their life was extremely miserable. Later, as he grew older, his mental retardation improved, and he could speak. Although his expressive ability was poor, he could understand, but he seemed a bit dull. In response, his grandfather sent him to school, but he really couldn't learn. He was fine in elementary school, but when he entered junior high school, he couldn't do what he wanted. Others said he was a fool. Moreover, he cannot use his brain. Once he uses his brain for a long time, it will be particularly painful, with splitting headaches and even coma. Therefore, since I couldn't go to junior high school, I had no choice but to go home and help farm. Fortunately, Wanjie can still cut wheat and do rough work. He also carries water for cooking every day, and looks just like ordinary people. In my free time every day, I would sit on the field in a daze, staring at other people talking, or watching TV all day long. Whenever this happens, he becomes Hwang Das Hao in the eyes of others. This is Wanjie. He is not nearly as intelligent as everyone imagined, but he is just a retarded person with an IQ of only 50. Countless people in all the worlds are stupid. Worry, is it fake? What about the IQ crushing you said? What about the wisdom that is said to be almost a demon? As a result, he became mentally retarded with an IQ of only 50? Damn, this contrast is so huge. Tisk, IQ is crushing, and this one is only 50. Isn't this contrast too big? Good guy, I'm so confused, is this Wanjie? Isn't it said that the wisdom is almost demonic? Result, that's it? No way, right? Will such a person be on the list? IQ is only 50, this is too miserable, right? Not only is his IQ only 50, but his double pupils are just a disease. It's so miserable. Wanjie is so miserable. But in other worlds, this Wanjie wouldn't be like this. Good guy, this Wanjie is really miserable. By the way, why is this happening? Is it because the gold finger hasn't arrived yet? Gold finger? IQ. Isn't this something innate? Is there still a saying that the payment is not received? My IQ has become perfect, so I went to the universe to play around and then came back. Laughing to death. Hey guys, hurry up and open the book, update quickly, I won't be able to sleep at night. So, when will Wanjie's IQ be online? At this time, Wu Weisheng was discussing, looking at everything that happened in the picture, he was filled with emotion. Countless people looked at the Dao Gold list again, wanting to see what the situation was like with Wanjie. At this time, in the picture, Wanjie's original name was not Wanjie, but Huangsu. The reason why he is called Huangsu is because he was born on the third day of the third month of the lunar calendar. On February 2nd, the dragon raises its head, and on March 3rd, worship Xianyuan. The old man originally wanted to name Wanjie Huang Xianyuan. But the name was too big and I didn't dare to use it, So I called it Sue. Just give it a try, it's not a big problem. However, Wanjie's father disagreed. After all, the word Sue also means tombs and ruins. Therefore, when registering for residence, it was directly changed to Wanjie, and then it was called Wanjie. It was just a matter of anger, but there was nothing I could do about it, so I had to settle on it in the end. But the old man is still called Hwangjizuer, which is a nickname. On this day, Dr. Liang, who was treating Wanjie, disappeared. It's hard to say that she's missing, so I have no choice but to go to her house and have a look. As for Wanjie, as a patient, he was well known in the village. Similarly, others did not take him seriously as a fool, so Wanjie was allowed to follow him to have a look. The police opened the door and found no message. But Wanjie stood at the door, staring at the track on the road, and said to himself in an inaudible voice, there are 5 people, one is named Wang Zhen, one is named Hu Feng, one is named Lu Zongmin, and one is named Lu Zongmin. Lin Yang, and Liang Yuan, Dr. Liang. Others didn't notice his abnormality. At this time, he looked around, and finally looked at the old tree not far away, and muttered, there is another, Li Fan, who is a witness. He just stood there, staring blankly ahead. Until the police came out and looked at Wanjie. Wanjie is often in a daze. If you want. Everyone knows this, so they don't care when they see Wanjie in a daze. The policeman Wang Meng also knows Wanjie, and he doesn't care about this fellow countryman. The younger brother also took good care of him. Once Wanjie fainted, he was the one who carried him to the hospital. Now seeing Wanjie in a daze, he didn't care and liked it, so he first coaxed Wanjie home and then talked about it. What did you see? Wang Meng asked differently. But Wanjie didn't say anything directly. He paused first, then pointed to the old tree and said, I walked this way in the morning, and I saw Li Fan playing behind this tree from a distance. If Dr. Liang went out, he should have seen it. Wang Meng glared, why didn't you tell me such important information earlier? Wanjie said blankly, I'm sorry, I was slow to react, I just remembered it. For it, Wang Meng was speechless and had nothing to say. However, there was no way, Wang Meng wanted to find someone without saying anything. However, at this moment, the village chief suddenly said that he had asked and they all said he had never seen it. Wang Meng paused. Wanjie was also stunned. He looked at the old tree and was very sure in his heart that Dr. Liang was taken away by 4 men, and similarly, Li Fan was beside the tree. Logically speaking, Dr. Liang was taken away by 4 men. He should have witnessed the whole process. Did not see it? No, that's a lie. But Wanjie thought about it, looked at the village chief, and said simply, I saw Li Fan at 7 o'clock, and it turns out that Dr. Liang disappeared so early. As soon as he said this, the village chief didn't think anything was wrong. But Wang Meng frowned. The health center opened at 7 o'clock, and Dr. Liang disappeared after the door opened. Li Fan was playing here at 7 o'clock, and he said he didn't see it. He felt something was strange, and immediately went to ask Li Fan. As a result, this child still said he didn't see it. Wang Meng frowned. Didn't you play here in the morning? Was it open at that time? What time? Li Fan was stunned and said in astonishment, how do you know? Wanjie saw it all. Was it 7 o'clock? Wang Meng asked again. He did not suspect Li Fan of lying. He just wanted to determine the time of Dr. Liang's disappearance. This is very important. Who would have thought that Li Fan said, what does he, a fool? No. It was already 7:30 when I came. 7 o'clock, however, Wanjie spoke calmly. It's 7:30, you remembered wrong, Li Fan shouted. However, Wanjie still stared into Li Fan's eyes and said calmly, 7 o'clock. Na. Li Fan was helpless. You can tell by looking at him that he said something, this fool remembered it wrong. Wang Meng frowned, then looked at Wanjie and asked, Wanjie, how are you sure it's 7 o'clock? Wanjie said calmly, my grandfather asked me to go out to see Dr. Liang at 7 o'clock. I left early, but I didn't want to see a doctor, so I went home when I got there. At that time, the time I saw Li Fan must have been 7 o'clock. Point. Of course this is not true. He is lying. When he went out at 7 in the morning, he did not go to the health station. Instead, he walked around the fields and went back. He did not see Li Fan, but he saw some things that ordinary people couldn't see at all. Therefore, he was very sure that Li Fan must have been playing behind the old tree at 7 o'clock, and he must have seen Dr. Liang being taken away. At this time, facing Huang Ji's words, then Li Fan panicked. There is no doubt that Wang Meng, a policeman, naturally saw it. After being stared at by Wang Meng, he immediately said it. 4 people took away Dr. Liang, very vicious, and knife, what are you talking about? If Li Fan dares to speak out, he will kill him. So, he lied and said he didn't see it. However, when he was frightened by Wang Meng and scolded by his father, he immediately acted honestly, he said it. When he heard this, Wang Meng was shocked and hurriedly called to report the situation. Soon, full deployment was carried out. However, this matter was very strange. Liang Yuan was kidnapped, and the family did not receive the blackmail call at all. And what are the possibilities of a beautiful woman being kidnapped? Just when others thought it was a robbery, new news was received. Liang Yuan's family ran away. They packed up their belongings, got on the highway, and ran away. What the hell? It's simply weird. His daughter was kidnapped, so he didn't just call the police in a hurry, but took the money and ran away. Wang Meng was stupid. However, at this moment, Wang Meng suddenly saw a list on the police car. It clearly says on it, Liang Yuan was in the hands of the outside world and exchanged her parents for Lu Zongmin. Wang Meng is even more confused. It's pitch dark all around, but just for taking a photo, criminals came over to provoke me? So arrogant. It's just a provocation, why bother signing it? Even if it's a fake name, he will have to be traced today. That's right, Wang Meng immediately went to check. On the other side, Huang Ji had already returned home, filled his grandfather's feet with water, asked him to go to bed, and put away the dishes. It was only then that he looked at the sky. However, at this moment, Huang Ji's eyes were no longer sluggish, but full of complexity, a little helpless and desperate, and a little lucky in the despair. He murmured, why, do you want me to feel so much retarded? No, at this moment, he doesn't look like a mentally retarded person at all. He is enlightened. Yes, after being in a coma 3 days ago, his intelligence has returned to normal levels. No, it should be said that he is not mentally retarded in the first place, just because he has seen everything since he was a child. The world is different from others. In his eyes, the world is like a huge information database, full of complicated information. Some information remains unchanged, and some information keeps changing. Flowers, birds, fish and insects, fresh breezes and pools, all filled his mind with endless and vast information. This ability is innate, like omniscience. However, this endless information made him a retard for 16 years. Not until now. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 206. At this time, countless people in the world looked at what was happening in the picture, and their eyes widened. Good guy, it's reversed, the golden finger has arrived. Worry, the omniscient? Know all the information? Is this Wanjie? Good guy, I really thought this Wanjie was very stupid. He co-authored it because there was too much information. Tisk tisk, there is too much information, it will impact your qualifications and dull your qualifications, is that okay? From the first time Wanjie started lying, I knew he was definitely not as simple as I thought. Omniscient information man, this is much more awesome than the likes of the ancient sea. Ha ha ha, I knew that this double pupil was definitely not that simple. Tisk, Wanjie, Wanjie, this is Wanjie. From now on, Wanjie is afraid that he will go against the will of heaven. By the way, is this omniscience a gift or something else? Talent, right? Not a talent, right? Is this his own ability? This is equivalent to IQ. Everyone knows everything. Isn't this magical power? Magical hammer, what the hell is the superpower, right? No need to think about it, this golden finger is IQ. As long as the IQ is in place, anything can be said easily. By the way, what exactly is this information omniscience? Don't you understand? What's going on with Wanjie? I don't understand anything. At this moment, countless people were discussing. Seeing everything that happened in the picture, everyone was amazed. At the same time, there were even greater doubts. Immediately, it was seen that a new picture appeared in the Deo Golden List. As the scene progresses, countless people in the world finally have a deeper understanding of the situation of this so-called omniscient information person. This ability, born. Some information, he cannot understand, it is chaotic and completely helpless understand the concept. But there are some things 763. As he understands, he knows more and more. For example, once, when Wanjie didn't know the concept of age, all the information about age concepts are all chaotic. However, when he knows the concept of age, knows what year, month, and day are, and knows that a tree should also have an age, when he looks at a tree, he will perceive the age of the tree. Age. For example, the age of a tree is 7 years, 3 months, 20 days, 9 hours, 44 minutes, and 1 second. There are zeros and holes. Even 1 femtosecond and 1 nanosecond appear in front of him. Of course, the information is not that simple. There is a lot of information about a tree, including species, family, quality, volume, molecules, and even how much water it absorbs, how many fruits it bears, from the time it is planted, to the first sprout. The time of each result. He can perceive everything. This is information omniscience. Real omniscience. Well, as long as he understands it, it is omniscience. Logically speaking, this kind of omniscience should not be regarded as 10 only a fool of 6 years is right. But the fact is that how much specific information he can perceive depends on his cognitive scope. When he was born, he didn't understand anything. The world was completely unknown, it was chaos, and what he saw before him, all are unknown and incomprehensible information. The perception is too strong, which is extremely cruel to the baby. It is precisely because of this situation that he will become extremely slow, dull in thinking, and have extremely poor memory. His eyesight is also extremely poor. Nonsense, when all you see is information, it's chaotic, complicated, and full of indescribable things. It's a ghost if you can still see things clearly. At that time, when his parents took him to check his intelligence, what kind of reflexes? He is even more confused and doesn't know what the doctor wants him to do. In the eyes of the doctor, this is natural. In fact, Wanjie is very smart. He can understand the concept of parents at the age of 4 or 5. Yes. It is a concept, not simply a baby calling daddy. At the age of 4 or 5, he can understand that he should learn to speak and understand the difference between himself and others. In so much complicated information, it is already a miracle that he can take the initiative to understand these things by himself. Other ordinary children, teach him what is father, what is mother, what is drinking milk, what is white, what is yellow. Maybe before I was a little overwhelmed a few times, but just repeat and teach patiently a few more times and it will be fine. However, for Wanjie, this is difficult. Dad. Mom. A bunch of chaotic information, pointing to another bunch chaotic information, saying this is mother, and then pointing to another group of information, saying it is grandpa. Okay. This is so understandable that it is weird. It is like teaching a blind person what purple is and what red is. It's simply baffling. Fortunately, as Wanjie continues to grow up and his brain develops, he has more and more control over his abilities. At the age of 4, he knew how to restrain and expand information, and block those things he couldn't understand by default. Although you can only block a small part, you can at least see the world as seen by others. As he grows up and his brain becomes more mature, he can block out more. In addition to unknown information, as Wanjie's knowledge broadens, he can even block information that he has already understood. This is also the reason why when he went to the doctor at the age of 4.5, his intelligence was measured at 50. If the old man didn't listen to the fortune teller and went to see a doctor when he was 1 year old, then the result of the test would not be 50 IQ, then he would be a complete fool. His eyesight is not 0.2, but he is completely blind. As the saying goes, everything is difficult at the beginning. As his knowledge broadens, his ability to control will become stronger. The information continued to gather, and his mind became more and more relaxed. In junior high school, his IQ had returned to 60, and his recovery began to accelerate. The reason for poor grades is entirely due to forced thinking and overuse of the brain, which leads to the inability to study and even coma. In fact, he loves learning because the more knowledge he has, the faster his symptoms can be relieved. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to go to school. After giving up going to school, he was able to learn more directions. He sat in the field, meditating, completely observing and understanding the world. Listening to other people's conversations also helps you understand more. The same goes for watching TV. Therefore, this half year at home is exactly the most important half year for him to return to normal. So far, he has been able to do it. He can block all information if he wants to, and let it go if he wants. Whatever he wants to know, as long as he understands it, he can directly search for it. It's like, his mind is like an encyclopedia. Well, an encyclopedia of his understanding. He understood everything about the mountains and rivers in the village, the people, the dogs, and so on. It can be said that everything in his field of vision now is almost the same as that of a normal person. Except, the starry sky. Well, Wanjie looked at the sky, his forehead beating. What he can block now is only the earth and all kinds of information in human society. Once he raises his head and looks at the stars, he will feel the huge amount of information impacting his mind. The information in the starry sky is so vast that it cannot be compared to those societies on Earth. This is why he gets a splitting headache every time he looks up at the sky. Every star in the sky contains a huge amount of information. He can block ordinary stars, like the sun. The sun is just a simple ladder to heaven, and Wanjie was able to block him when he was 6 years old. However, even now that he is 16 years old, he cannot block the civilization of planets. Yes, civilization. Others don't know, and countless people on the earth may not realize that there are other civilizations in the starry sky, but Wanjie knows. He has all the information. There really are a lot of civilizations among the stars. The universe is not as silent as imagined, but full of noise. At least, that's how it is in Wanjie's perception. Whether it is visible light waves or invisible quantum light waves, he can feel countless complex information from them. Information infinitely vaster than the sun. Even if he knows what civilization is, what aliens are, and what stars are, he can only block most of them, and he really can't block the rest. To put it bluntly, the brain is not fully developed yet, and it needs a stronger body and a more developed brain. At this time, although he has returned to normal intelligence level, he will still be suppressed by the starry sky. He is not the most relaxed person now. The more you know, the less happy you are. Even if his IQ is suppressed, Wanjie doesn't think it's a big deal. Anyway, as long as he strengthens his body and brain, he can block it. As long as there is a way to solve it, it's not a problem. However, the real trouble comes from a planet in the sky. The moon. Yes, it's the moon. The reason why I say fear is because there is a race of inhumans on the moon. There are very few people. When I saw it last week, there were only 2 people. Now there are 2 more people, and there are 4 people. They monitor the Earth. There is a message from the moon. Wanjie based his personal understanding on it. The total duration of monitoring the Earth is 12,831 April 19th days. He doesn't know about the race on the moon and has not seen him. This moon is not a natural satellite at all, it is just a war weapon made by another race. The interior of the moon contains various powerful machines. The most important thing is that among the equipment, there is some kind of powerful cannon. According to Wanjie's understanding, it is probably a nuclear fusion weapon and a cannon. This is not the same as on Earth. Their cannon can fire 300,000-ton shells. It is made of high-purity tungsten. If a cannon hits the Earth, it will definitely be no less than a high-speed collision of a small star. This is just a weapon. In fact, the moon itself is a weapon, the most natural weapon. The moon orbits the Earth and controls the Earth's tides. If the moon suddenly leaves, the part of the sea water that is tidally locked will fall directly, causing global sea levels to rise. The Earth's auto-rotation speed will also accelerate, which will definitely cause the Earth's structure to become unstable, causing large-scale earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and even tsunamis and other disasters. Perhaps others never know that the moon hanging above their heads is actually a weapon and a monitor. Where else could it be? Right above your head. Moreover, according to Wanjie's information perception, he also knows that the aliens on the moon are extremely unfriendly to humans, because he saw a message. The advantage of humans in the race evaluation of the monitor is, delicious. Yes, it is delicious. To these aliens, humans are just delicious food. Wanjie's scalp was numb. Every time I look at the moon, I feel terrified, like the sword of Damocles hanging above my head. He was helpless, he was afraid, and in the end, he had no choice but to face it. Because he knows that he is the only one who can solve the despair hanging above his head. It's not because I'm conceited, it's because I have no choice. How much can a 16-year-old boy without any strength or power rely on information perception? It seems like, what he can do is, infinite. Forget it, while Grandpa is asleep, go save Dr. Liang first, Wanjie pondered. Dr. Liang was kind to him. She was kidnapped. There was something fishy about the matter, so he had to save her no matter what. He had information perception. Others didn't know where Dr. Liang had been kidnapped, but he looking at the information printed on the rut, you will know where Dr. Liang was kidnapped. Not to mention the past 12 hours, even if 12 years have passed, or 120 years have passed, Wanjie can still see it. So, he only needs to follow the information to find Dr. Liang. Just do what he says. As he goes out, he summarizes his abilities. His information perception is to perceive basic information. By looking at the ruts, he can know who the driver is. Because the rut was caused by the driver. Looking at the footprints, he can know who the owner of the footprints is. Of course, he can not only feel the information with his eyes, but he can also perceive the information by smelling and hearing it. Therefore, if you want to get richer information, it is best to have direct interaction, so that you can get the richest information. Before, Wanjie had followed the traces of the ruts and found the foothold of the kidnappers. After returning, he wrote a blackmail letter to the police. Yes, the letter Wang Meng saw was written by Wanjie. At this time, Wanjie had arrived on a hillside, and he was staring at the village chief's house. After finding out everything that happened at the village chief's house. At this time, Wang Meng and several police officers were still questioning Li Fan and drawing portraits. They even found out about LV Zongmin. The reason why Lu Zongmin kidnapped Liang Yuan was for money. Others don't know, but Huang 5.3 knows it very well. Liang Yuan is a top student and came to the countryside to avoid trouble. Because she used to be a member of a gang that stole and sold cultural relics. Of course, she was dragged into it by her parents. To be precise, her adoptive parents. Once, her adoptive parents decided to do something big and stole more than 4 million from the team and a golden Buddha from the Tang dynasty and ran away. Liang Yuan also participated in this plan. He also anesthetized others with anesthetics and called the police. But obviously, the arrests were not finished, and there were still 3 people who were not arrested, namely Wanjie, Hu Feng, and Lu Zongmin. They were the guys who kidnapped Liang Yuan. At this time, Wanjie then he turned to look at some dilapidated bungalows. No one had lived in those bungalows for a long time. But now, the guys who kidnapped Liang Yuan were right there. Wanjie was one step ahead of the police, relying on his omniscience to uncover all the traps destroyed. The reminder device was also destroyed. Finally, when he was 20 meters away from the old house, he vaguely saw the figures inside. Wanjie, Hu Feng, and Lu Zongmin. The moment he saw these 3 people, Wanjie grasped all of them information, including memory. Oh! It's not for money, but for the golden Buddha? Wanjie and Hu Feng are also wanted, Wanjie whispered. Lu Zongmin and others have tortured Liang Yuan for 10 hours for the golden Buddha. Liang Yuan's face was almost scratched, and her hands and feet were burned black with fire. They used waterboarding, whipping, and even a finger was removed. It's really cruel. However, Liang Yuan really didn't know where the golden Buddha was. At this moment, Wanjie frowned. He wanted to step forward, but looking at his small body, it was okay to deal with Lu Zongmin, but what Wanjie and Hu Feng said, he sighed secretly. He is just an ordinary person, except that he can see information. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 207. At this time, everyone in the world looked at what happened in the picture, and their eyes widened in surprise. Good guy, is this okay? Are there really aliens in the deep space of this universe? Are there really extraterrestrial civilizations? Damn it, the moon is actually a weapon? Real or fake? Are you kidding me? Anyway, in this world, the moon must be a weapon, and there are monitors on it. I'm a little desperate. What the hell, humans are actually rated as delicious? What the hell, it's terrifying to think about it. Alien civilization? Are there so many alien civilizations in this universe? In fact, it is normal for aliens to exist. If in the universe, only the Earth has life, that is nonsense. Indeed, the universe is too big. Even if the conditions for the birth of life in our concept are very harsh, there will be civilizations and intelligent races born on countless planets. Don't know what the aliens in this world are like. Hey, I don't know if there are any Kryptonians in this world. Kryptonian, right? Big super, right? By the way, are there ETs in this world? ET? Is that the little gray man? Tisk, anyway, there must be more aliens in this world than imagined. Tisk, I finally see a normal technology side. I actually want to know more now. What step can Wanjie take when he has omnipotent information? Destroy this Lu Zongmin? Or kill Wang Zhen and Hu Feng? Know the information, take one step at a time. Tisk, Wanjie always has a way. There is a huge difference in combat power. To be honest, I am looking forward to the role of Wanjie's wisdom in single combat. This battle will show Wanjie's power. Worry, when Wanjie sees a person, he can even perceive the memory. Is it so scary? Damn it, doesn't it mean that anyone standing in front of Wanjie has no secrets? Damn, this kind of person is so straight. As long as this Wanjie is in a fantasy world, and as long as this Wanjie's double pupils have some incredible ability, he is absolutely invincible. Damn it, all the memories are displayed in front of Wanjie. Doesn't this mean that it is easy for Wanjie to pry into the technique? Tisk, that is to say, when you learn some secret. This Wanjie is so terrifying. At this time, countless people were discussing. Although Wanjie was only 23 years old and an ordinary person, he was not completely ordinary. Before, everyone saw a kind of power in Guhai, the power of wisdom. And Wanjie, even more, he is the omniscient person of information. Although Wanjie is only the wisdom of ordinary people now, the wisdom of ordinary people is definitely not as simple as imagined. At this time, Wanjie was thinking, and immediately continued to look at the Dao Golden List. And in the picture, it can be seen that Wanjie is watching everything in the room, seeing that Lu Zongmin seems to be killing Liang Yuan and planning to leave. With the thought in his mind, he directly took out the removed small speaker, and then triggered alert. Diddy. In an instant, bursts of piercing bells resounded throughout the mountain forest, spreading far and wide in the silent night. Someone is going up the mountain. Lu Zongmin and others were shocked. At the same time, Lu Zongmin also shouted, quickly, do it quickly, and then go down the mountain immediately. Hearing this, Wanjie felt helpless. He triggered the bell in advance, and this group of people had time to run away. But, these guys didn't forget to silence them before they left. In this regard, Wanjie could only stand up. He took a moment stretching, he immediately ran out like a fool. The key is that as he ran, he kept mumbling something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. He was doing radio gymnastics, silly, just a fool. Well, the three people under the moon, Lu Zongmin and others, were a little confused. They were still thinking about who triggered the alarm, but they didn't expect to see a fool running up the mountain like this. Forget it, Xiao Liang, this person just happens to be your companion. Lu Zongmin was a little impatient. However, when Liang Yuan saw Wanjie, she became anxious. Don't hurt him, he is just a fool, he doesn't know anything. Fool, Lu Zongmin was stunned. Wanjie really looked like a fool. He didn't sleep all night, talked to the air alone, and ran around in the wild. Then Hu Feng took a closer look and suddenly said, oh, I stepped on it. I've seen him before, and he is indeed a famous fool and idiot in every village in the world. Hu Feng said, grabbed Wanjie and carried him into the house. Oh, let me go, Dr. Liang. Are you bleeding? Wanjie struggled, dumbfounded, like a retard. He was just a retard. Hu Feng didn't care at all. Fool, you are unlucky, Lu Zongmin sneered and looked at Wanjie. Don't touch him, he's just a fool, he doesn't know what you do, just let him go, Liang Yuan spoke anxiously. She knew she was going to die and just wanted to save Wanjie. She also knew that Wanjie was actually not that stupid, just a little dull. But at this moment, she deliberately made Wanjie look even stupider so that they could let him go. However, Lu Zongmin will not have any luck, straight. Hu Feng nodded, held the knife, looked at Wanjie, and said lightly, fool, give birth to a good child in your next life. Don't want, Liang Yuan screamed. Ouch, hiss. Hu Feng immediately took a breath and lost his breath after being poked like this. Wanjie shrank back and broke free from Hu Feng's hand. Crazy, what are you doing? Lu Zongmin frowned and patted Hu Feng on the back. Cough cough, cough cough cough. Hu Feng coughed twice, and after a long time, he took a sip of saliva and bared his teeth. Oh shit, I was so angry. Useless stuff, kidney deficiency. Wang Zhen laughed, and immediately grabbed the knife. I'll do it. As he spoke, he grabbed the knife and stabbed Wanjie in the heart. Liang Yuan shouted anxiously, run. Wanjie, run away. However, Wanjie did not run away. Instead, he squatted down with his head in his hands. He barely escaped such a blow. Well, it can't be said that he escaped, because his movements were faster than Wang Zhen's. When Wang Zhen attacked, he squatted down. It looked more like luck. Then, Wanjie suddenly bounced up again, and his head directly hit Wang Zhen's heart. Damn it, Wang Zhen was angry and frightened, and then his eyes felt black and white stars appeared. As if he was anemic, he froze in place, his head swelling. Wanjie saw this, and then strangely started to do radio gymnastics and stretching exercises again, and then randomly slashed a spot 3 inches behind Wang Zhen's armpit with his palm. Ouch, Wang Zhen's arms went numb, and half of his body could no longer exert energy. Damn, what are you doing? Lu Zongmin was a little speechless. Not me. Wang Zhen also felt evil. Damn it, he couldn't beat a fool. He held the knife in his left hand, gritted his teeth, and took a step forward to cut Wanjie. However, Wanjie made another chest-expanding movement and hit the numb tendon on his other hand. Bang, bang, bang. The shining long knife just fell to the ground. Immediately, Wanjie kicked his legs again, and one of them hit Wang Zhen's calf. Plop. Wang Zhen knelt in front of Wanjie with a confused face. Everyone was dumbfounded. Why are you kneeling down? This your father? Lu Zongmin was confused and a little angry. Wang Zhen was even more stupid. How the hell did I know? He didn't even know why he knelt down. He felt the pain in his calf and stomach, and just grinned. It's cramped, my leg cramped. Waste. Lu Zongmin snorted coldly. Don't push back, kill him quickly. Yes. From Lu Zongmin's point of view, these two guys were just trying to push back and forth. One of them had a hiatus, one had a leg cramp. What the heck, what a coincidence. Fortunately, at this time, Hu Feng also calmed down and immediately pounced on Wanjie. He punched Wanjie directly against the wall. It hurts, Wanjie clutched his stomach, his face full of pain. Then, he turned around quickly, and his elbow suddenly touched Hu Feng's waist somewhere. Ah! Hu Feng shuddered, as if he was electrocuted, and instantly fell to the spot. His whole body was frozen in place, and he lost control of his expression. What the hell are you doing? Lu Zongmin was completely furious. Two big and thick men beat a fool, and they beat him like this? This is no longer a matter of letting go, this is Fang Hai. However, Wang Zhen knelt on the ground, wanting to weeping without tears, said this kid is evil. He threw a strange punch and hissed, and he was still cramping. Damn, broadcasting gymnastics is also a strange punch, Lu Zongmin laughed angrily. Two losers, knocked over by broadcast gymnastics? At this time, he began to wonder again whether Wanjie was pretending to be stupid. However, seeing Wang Zhen and Hu Feng fall to the ground, Wanjie did not run away, ran up to Liang Yuan, untied the rope, and said naively, Dr. Liang is injured, I will carry Dr. Liang down the mountain. What a fool. Lu Zongmin's mouth twitched. Run. Call the police. Wanjie, let's go, Liang Yuan shouted anxiously. However, Wanjie didn't stop and untied the rope in a few seconds. Liang Yuan gritted her teeth, endured the pain, staggered, pulled Wanjie and ran away. When Lu Zongmin saw this, his eyes changed. As soon as he got cold, he stood in front of the door and approached with a knife. Although he didn't fight, it was no problem to deal with a seriously injured woman and a fool. Liang Yuan let go of Wanjie and said immediately, "I'll stop him, hurry up, run, oh, don't." Before Dr. Liang finished speaking, he saw Wanjie holding his fist and rushing forward with a silly scream. Wang Zhen and Hu Feng were strong, but Lu Zongmin was just average. Wanjie is a 16-year-old rural boy with normal intelligence. He can beat Lu Zongmin with ease. As soon as the old punch came down, Lu Zongmin's nose was bruised and his face was swollen. Lu Zongmin became violent when he arrived, and for a while, he and Wanjie were fighting back and forth. The movement here quickly attracted the police patrolling the mountain. "Stop!" Suddenly, a loud shout rang out, and the police broke in instantly and threw Wanjie and Lu Zongmin to the ground. Immediately, more police came in and controlled everyone except Liang Yuan. However, Wanjie and Lu Zongmin were thrown to the ground. There was absolutely no resistance, and he was still lying on the ground laughing. "Brother Wang Mang, Dr. Liang has been found." "Alas, alas, Captain Chen, this is from our village." When Wang Mang saw Wanjie, he immediately pulled Wanjie up. Then, Dr. Liang explained again that Wanjie accidentally hit her and saved her. Wanjie just stood there in a daze, and he didn't say a word. Liang Yuan has finished explaining everything. "Good boy," Wang Mang patted Wanjie on the shoulder. Wanjie smiled naively. Lu Zongmin and others were also dumbfounded. Looking at the naive Wanjie, they were all depressed and wanted to vomit blood. Why did you fall into this trap?" They really couldn't figure it out. Why the hell did they fall into the hands of a fool? At this time, countless people in all the worlds burst into laughter. "It made me laugh to death. This Wanjie is really cruel. Isn't this too similar to pretending to be a fool?" "Hee hee, where are you pretending? Wanjie is a fool, well, a fool that everyone knows. Ha ha ha, it made me laugh so hard. This Wanjie is really ruthless. He pretends to be stupid while pointing at people's weak points. Tisk, these three guys will probably never think about how they got into trouble until they die, right? Boy, is this omniscience? When fighting, anticipate the enemy's opportunity, take the first step, and take the lead every step of the way. Even if you are weak, you can still find countless weaknesses. This feels a bit like leaky. Rely on foresight, rely on knowing everything, seeing through everything, and directly attacking the weak points." 477 No, Leaky is just pretending. Wanjie is really stupid. Ha ha ha, you really want to make me laugh to death? Wanjie is really stupid? If you have the ability, you can face Wanjie's test. Look. Try it or die. Under the same level, Wanjie is absolutely invincible. Not to mention the same level, even at a higher level, I feel that Wanjie can win with just 4 ounces of force. By the way, is this considered an IQ crush? This is not considered an IQ crushing, right? Anyway, I can't see the IQ crushing yet. Indeed, you can't see the IQ crushing yet, you can only look at Wanjie's operation later. After all, Wanjie now only has the IQ of an ordinary person. After the restrictions on the starry sky are lifted, we will probably be able to see Wanjie's operations. I don't know how long it will take. At this time, countless people were discussing. Immediately, they saw in the picture. As Lu Zongmin and others were arrested, Liang Yuan also confessed everything. This can be regarded as surrendering, and it will take 2 or 3 years at most to come out. Only by surrendering can her conscience be relieved. Wanjie just watched the police car leave. The next day, there were new developments in the case. Liang Yuan's adoptive parents were arrested and came to testify about the hiding place of the Golden Buddha. As for the stolen 4 million, they said they had spent it all. But Wanjie knew very well that they only spent 1 million and had another 3 million hidden. The Golden Buddha is hidden in the reservoir, and 3 million are hidden in another place. It is estimated that these two people are thinking that after they come out of the bureau, they will not be poor if they dig out the 3 million. It's just, these 3 million, without a doubt, already belong to Wanjie. In front of Wanjie, no one has any secrets. This is the account. Is it possible that we have to wait until these two guys are released from prison to live a good life? Obviously, impossible. For Wanjie, 3 million is nothing. He has countless ways to make money. But if you can easily pick up 3 million, why not do it? And, with the current situation on Earth, he had to do something. So, he needs a lot of money, a lot of money. That's the end of it. However, when he saw the Golden Buddha he picked up again, Wanjie was stunned again. The surface was plated with copper, but the inside was not gold. This was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that there was a seal inside the Buddha statue. Thing. And when you take something, it has a very high density and contains an unknown element, which is not an element on the earth. Moreover, the thing sealed inside looked like the person's body, the maker, Siddhartha Gautama. With his perception, he finally discovered that there was a sophisticated artificial alloy device inside. It's in the shape of a finger. And the person who created this element was an alien civilization. Wanjie never expected that he would discover something about alien civilization so quickly. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 208. Oh, you started to contact alien civilizations so soon? Doesn't it mean that we will soon be able to contact alien civilizations? How can it be that fast? It's obviously not that fast. By the way, what is this alien civilization like? He actually left something behind on Earth. What the hell is a golden finger? Really, golden finger. Indeed, a real golden finger. I don't know what the golden finger is for. Good guy, founder Siddhartha Gautama? Isn't this the legendary founder of Buddhism, the legendary Sakyamuni? Gee, Sakyamuni, Buddha is actually an alien. It's so funny that Gautama Buddha is an alien. Really? What the hell, Gautama Buddha is an alien? What kind of international joke are you kidding? This is not an international joke, this is a joke from all over the world. Buddha? The Buddha of this world is actually an alien? I'm so zen-hearted. Amitabha, what a god, have all the aliens become Buddhas? Damn, what a comparison. People go too far in cultivating immortals. At this time, countless people looked at everything that happened in the picture and what Wanjie was thinking. They were all a little surprised. At this time, it can be seen that in the picture, Wanjie felt a lot, and the Golden Buddha was finally taken away. This Golden Buddha is obviously not something he can interfere with. It is a national treasure and a cultural relic. However, after these people left, Wanjie took the shovel and started digging for money. Of course, the password box was useless in front of him. Whether or not the password lock was the same, Wanjie knew the password of the password box at a glance. Everything that has been artificially set is clearly displayed in the information. Study. Improve yourself and improve your abilities. As long as he has information perception, his learning is rapid. He can learn everything in one go and can draw inferences from one instance to another. He only needs to surpass the aliens' technology tree, then humanity will be saved. Of course, physical fitness cannot be left behind, and he still needs to find ways to strengthen his body. After making up his mind, Wanjie went home. Looking at his grandfather who was still sleeping soundly, Wanjie frowned again. Grandpa's health has been poor, and I'm afraid he won't be able to hold on for long. From information perception, Wanjie learned that his grandfather's illness was getting worse and worse, and would only get worse in the future, and he would die in 5 years. He has another goal. We must find a way to cure Grandpa's disease. Wanjie also had a deep understanding of the human body this time and knew that the human body still has many problems and weaknesses. No matter how strong a person is, he still has weaknesses. On the surface, he knew exactly where his breath would be choked by a heavy blow, and where he would get cramped. It's like acupuncture. Everyone knows that the brain, heart, and throat are critical weaknesses. But Wanjie can also find hundreds of weird vitals on the human body. There is more than one kind of fatal spot. But Wanjie doesn't want to kill anyone. If he really wants to kill, he only needs to stab Wang Zhen or Hu Feng somewhere in the body. As long as the angle is accurate enough, they will most likely die of cerebral infarction. Even if he is not dead, he is still paralyzed. People with weak constitutions may even die at the first touch and die suddenly on the spot. This is the Achilles heel. Of course, everyone's Achilles heel is different, and the location will shift. Therefore, Wanjie only made temporary use of these things. But, again, he doesn't want to kill anyone. When Wanjie returned home, he only took 10,000 yuan with him. The rest was not put back in its original place, but moved to another place. Looking at his grandfather, to be honest, Wanjie's top priority now is to become independent. If you are not independent, whatever you say is nonsense. Ordinary rhetoric is definitely useless. The only useful rhetoric is, go to school. Grandpa cares about Wanjie very much, and he also knows that his health is getting worse day by day, and he is afraid that after he is gone, Wanjie will have nothing to rely on. Therefore, reading is a matter of course. Grandpa's biggest hope is that Wanjie can make money to take care of himself, but Grandpa cannot let Wanjie go to the city alone. At least, he needs a fellow villager to take him with him. Wanjie looked east and west, and finally, he locked onto someone. The village chief's eldest daughter returned to her hometown with her boyfriend. Wanjie took advantage of the situation and said that his strange illness was cured and that he would no longer faint. Then he expressed that he missed his school days. Until he saw the girl's boyfriend. Wanjie knew what this girl's boyfriend Zheng Xian was doing. This guy could easily blackmail a top securities company, so he was quite capable. And this guy also has a dark web account with 70,000 bitcoins and $1 million in Morgan Bank. What is the dark web? Wanjie muttered. This is the first time I have seen it. Sure enough, he is still not smart enough and needs to learn more knowledge. However, this Zheng Xian is also quite good. On the surface, he even found a girlfriend for his girlfriend. The village chief was very satisfied with the translation work. Well, the village chief was satisfied, and so was Wanjie. Mainly because Zheng Xian knew much more. Next, Wanjie pretended to show off his skills by repairing the TV, making Zheng Xian think Wanjie is very sensitive to machinery. After testing, Zheng Xian was surprised to find that Wanjie seemed to be very talented in this area. This is also normal. He is slightly mentally retarded and can always show extraordinary abilities in some aspects. At that time, he was stronger than ordinary people. Then, Zheng Xian divided a computer 3 times, 5 by 2, and asked Wanjie to restore it. Sure enough, Wanjie restored the computer smoothly. Zheng Xian was shocked. Wanjie might be he is dull in other aspects, but in terms of mechanics, he is definitely a genius. And because Wanjie himself said that he is very interested in learning. Zheng Xian told the elder sister and the village chief, and then found his grandfather. Grandpa disagreed life and death, however, after allowing Wanjie to show his talent for a day, Grandpa was pleasantly surprised again. However, Grandpa was still worried, afraid that Wanjie would be bullied outside. He was reluctant to let Wanjie go out. Seeing that it was for this reason, Wanjie spoke. He said, "Grandpa, if you say you won't go, I won't go. From now on, I will always stay with you and take care of you, and I won't go anywhere." These words touched my grandfather's heart. At the same time, Grandpa was shocked. "Stay with me forever? How can this work?" Well, Grandpa looked at Wanjie bitterly. He had raised Wanjie for his whole life, but would he be able to achieve anything good after raising him? No. Wanjie stayed by his side, but he was just alive, with no future at all. He was worried about Wanjie going away, but Wanjie said he would stay with him for the rest of his life, and he sighed with guilt. Wanjie was only 16 years old, how could he stay with him for the rest of his life? He is very old and has only a few years left to live. And Wanjie still has a long life ahead of him. So, you should go out, you have talent, you have to learn your skills, you know, Grandpa said. He couldn't help but shed tears when he thought about how he had brought up his child to be a yes man, when he thought about Wanjie being brought up by him, being called a fool, not learning anything at all. And Wanjie extremely. He is not mentally retarded, but he can't tell Grandpa. With what he said just now, he saw the weakness in Grandpa's heart. He knew that Grandpa was guilty, so he said that. To be honest, he went out and took a look temporarily. It is not to solve the problems of the earth and solve the problems of the outside world. Man, the first thing he has to solve is Grandpa's illness. This is what is urgent. Finally, Wanjie got on the car heading to Magic City. At this step, the sea and the sky are brighter. Soon, he and Zhengxian went to the rental house. I rented a house for Wanjie across the street, and then moved to a bookstore to read. Wanjie was naturally absorbing knowledge, but Zhengxian couldn't sit still and lost interest within half an hour. But I have to watch Wanjie again. I have no choice but to wait. But neither did Zhou wait, nor did Zhengxian. In the end, it was Wanjie who spoke and asked him to go back first so that he could take care of himself. After saying it again and again, Zhengxian left. However, as soon as Zhengxian left, Wanjie turned around, sold the subway ticket, and took the subway to leave. He is going to withdraw money. Yes, before going to the Magic City, he sent the remaining money to a friend of Zhengxian's home by express delivery. However, he would not give it to a stranger. He only needed to use his ID card. Just pick up the express delivery in advance. Then, he did not go back to the house opposite Zhengxian, but rented a high-end apartment by himself. Save money? Sorry, Wanjie doesn't care. Then he withdrew another 200,000 and started shopping nearby. Computers, furniture, everything. The computer is a necessity for him to observe the world. Through the browser, he can see more things. Whether it is information about aliens, the moon, etc., he can check it through the internet. However, things on the internet are specious, some are true and some are false, and many things have no reference value. Of course, he also discovered that his information perception was even more incredible. Even if it was an ID on the internet, he could find out who the owner of the ID was, and he also knew who sent a message. This ability is so incredible. After searching for information about aliens, he found no results, so he focused on studying. Naturally, he couldn't disappear for fun, so he had to return to the rental house opposite Zhengxian, buy a few books, and then go home to study. He studies, he reads, it's really quantum reading. He flipped through the book so quickly that every line he read was an insult to him. He only had to look at it once and he would never forget it. He can keep all this knowledge in his mind, he just needs to wait until he understands it. Early the next morning, before Zhengxian could get up, Wanjie secretly bought more books with his own money. Of course, they were mainly about medicine. Physiology, medical microbiology, human parasitology, medical immunology, medical advanced mathematics, medical physics, basic chemistry, organic chemistry, medical biology, system anatomy, regional anatomy, histology and embryology. In addition to modern medicine, Wanjie is also interested in traditional Chinese medicine. He heard from his grandfather that traditional Chinese medicine has a way to treat some diseases that cannot be cured by Western medicine. So he specially found human acupuncture points and meridians, basic theory of traditional Chinese medicine pharmacy. Some of these books were extremely expensive, costing Wanjie 100,000 yuan in total. In order to study medicine, to cure my grandfather, and to make myself stronger. 100,000 yuan is nothing. He doesn't care about money from the bottom of his heart. When he thinks about it, money can buy knowledge, which is a great deal. Wanjie began to cram in all kinds of knowledge. Moreover, through studying medicine, he also discovered more secrets of the human body. Meridians and acupuncture points are just the tip of the iceberg of nodes in the human body. Many acupuncture points have names, but many more are unnamed. There are only half of the 409 acupoints in Chinese medicine. The human body is like a hidden treasure that can never be dug out. Moreover, each acupuncture point is connected to a meridian, and each meridian has different effects. Organs, blood production, and even hidden meridians. Wanjie was like a machine, frantically absorbing medical knowledge. There is no doubt that Wanjie, who is now full of theories, is definitely no weaker than any other Chinese medicine experts. All he lacks is practice. However, the practical problem was not big. He directly used his own body to start practicing, trying various methods and using silver needles to perform acupuncture. Finally, after trying it for a while, he can really be called a medical master at this time. Whether it is Chinese medicine or Western medicine, he can be called a qualified doctor. The 8 extraordinary meridians and various meridians seemed real in his eyes. He tried again on the body, using acupuncture to make himself grow again. There is no doubt that he succeeded. My brain is exceptionally clear, and my cardiopulmonary function is much stronger than before. However, lifespan significantly reduced. It's because of toxins, it's because of filth. Several of his acupuncture points, for Wang Hao, have no thorns, which leads to secondary growth of the body, just like washing the tendons and cutting the marrow, but all the impurities are accumulated in the body. Still not enough knowledge. At this moment, Wanjie began to learn a lot of knowledge again. 1 day has passed. 10 days have passed. Silver needles to strengthen the body still have some limitations after all. He wanted to find a better way, well, practice martial arts. Of course, everything like true energy, anger, etc. are all fake and fictitious, at least, they are fictitious in this universe. However, the human body has its own bioelectricity. What kind of qigong do you practice? Of course, practicing bioelectricity. As long as you can control these bioelectricity, it doesn't need to be too strong. If you can penetrate it into someone else's body at will, destroying the other person's life path and destroying the other person's life activities, it will cause so-called internal injuries. With a light palm, you can destroy someone else's kidney function, and with just a finger, you can cause someone else's heart to fail. In turn, it can strengthen itself and strengthen its functions. The more Wanjie thought about it, the more it felt right. As long as he learned to use the energy in the human body, the magical effects would be endless. Not only humans have bioelectricity in their bodies, but also animals and even plants. If nothing else, there are even aliens in their bodies. No matter what species the aliens are, to support life, they always need energy, veins, and bioelectricity. Even if it is a robot, there should be one. If the robot has it, what about the stone? All things are alive? All things are mortal? Wanjie muttered. However, as soon as this idea came to him, he felt the pulse signal interleaving model of the computer. Not only the computer, but also the lights, the refrigerator, the router, and even the walls, bookcases, and floors. Shield, shield, Wanjie stared and wanted to block it immediately. Then, boom, he finished blocking it. The sudden impact of information made him roll his eyes, then rolled his eyes twice, and fell to the ground unconscious. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 209. At this time, countless people in the world saw this scene, and they were not frightened because of Wanjie's fall. Instead, each of them looked at the Dao Golden List with more solemnity. Horrible, this Wanjie is really terrible. In a world without cultivation techniques, this Wanjie created a cultivation technique out of the blue. Damn it, if this Wanjie were placed in our world, it would be even more terrifying. Good guy, I'm so pissed off. Control bioelectricity? Doesn't that mean that Wanjie has become an extraordinary person in this world where there is no extraordinary world? No, this bioelectricity is just bioelectricity after all. Compared with real internal strength and cultivation techniques, it is not even a little bit worse. Indeed, although he is incomparable to practitioners like us, you must know that the world Wanjie lives in is just an ordinary technological world. With this kind of skill, he can defy the heavens and become a truly legendary existence. Cultivation in the mortal world is terrifying. I still think Wanjie himself is even more unbelievable and terrifying. In just 10 days, he has gone from a novice to a big shot in the medical field. I even feel that he has become a big shot in the mechanical field. Man, given time, wouldn't Wanjie be able to know everything about the universe? Omniscient knowledge of the entire universe is certain. However, he still has some way to go, such as his physical fitness and even his brain development. Only by keeping up with these can he become stronger and become a true omniscient person. To be honest, Wanjie's talent is really wasted in this ordinary world, but in a fantasy world like ours, Wanjie's height is definitely more than this. In fact, it's almost the same. Knowledge is one thing, and practice is another. It doesn't mean that if he knows a lot of skills, he can defy heaven and practice. After all, he still needs to follow the rules and step by step. However, Wanjie is our world, in its early stages, can indeed grow faster than this ordinary world. Not to mention spiritual power and mana, even ordinary internal strength has a considerable bonus to the human body. Wanjie lacks this aspect. At this time, countless people were discussing, looking at the fainted Wanjie in the picture, and they were all amazed. At this time, in the picture, along with Wanjie's fainting, this fainting lasted all afternoon. By the time Wanjie woke up again, it was already evening. He suppressed his headache and returned to the apartment. Zheng Xian thought Wanjie had been reading all afternoon again, so he didn't ask any more questions. Wanjie also enjoyed his leisure time. After that, he already had a rough idea of strengthening his body. He found an opportunity to collect various martial arts, internal boxing, and chi nourishing methods, and downloaded and printed them all. Then, he began to check the success rate of these exercises and select the best ones that could adjust the breath and guide the energy in the human body. The so-called internal strength is to adjust the bioelectricity and bioenergy in the body, not to release chi through practice. 600. Anyway, at least that's how this universe is. Wanjie checked them one by one and found that the success rate of these so-called internal powers was extremely low. Some simply don't have these features. But those that can really be practiced and are of some use are only 15. Among these 15 films, 13 have energy utilization rates below 1%. There are only two films with a success rate higher than 1%, one is Tai Chi and the other is Xing-Ai. The utilization rates are 4.57% and 3.82% respectively. And if these two are practiced together and mastered, the utilization rate can be as high as 16%. This is just a certain probability. There is an upper limit. It doesn't mean that it will be useful if you practice it. Wanjie looked at history and found that among the countless people who practiced Tai Chi, only 20 people felt the heat. However, only 2 people could emit electricity. Xing-Ai is similar. In history, only 34 people have felt the heat, and only one person can release the electricity. And that person was also proficient in Tai Chi and many other boxing techniques. Those who can feel the enthusiasm are considered martial arts masters and martial arts masters. Those who can release electricity are the rare and unique geniuses in the world. It can be said that these people, if they are placed in the world of cultivation, or even the world where they can practice, they can become top figures and become the top strong men. After all, I am still stuck in this small world with nowhere to go. So rough. Wanjie sighed. Although their martial arts and knocking on the door are very powerful, in terms of guidance, they can only be regarded as barely useful. However, if you think about it, the founders could not sense the veins of life energy. Even the theoretical basis was based on meridian science, guessing, and the experience passed down from generation to generation in mysterious language, so they reluctantly created it in modern times. There are so many sets of internal boxing that use energy. Without Wanjie's ability, he would have been wrong in understanding energy, but he still had this effect. You can imagine how powerful those people are. However, if it's wrong, it's wrong. To have such an effect is like a blind cat meeting a dead mouse. Wanjie realized that it would definitely not work to follow the exercises. Either the things on the internet are not good things, or they may be incomplete, but there is a high possibility that no one has yet developed a truly efficient guidance method. Invented. Quite simply, Tai Chi ranks 6th in the world and 7th in history. The energy utilization rate of the peerless martial arts that ranks 7th in history is only a pitiful 4.57%. Even if it is ranked first, how high can it be? Maybe 10%? Maybe there is 20%, even if it is an overestimation, it is 30%. That's still too low. Therefore, he can only improve himself. But if you want to create a more advanced method with improved magical effects, even Wanjie is omniscient, he can't do it easily. His knowledge reserve is not enough. 3 more days later, Wanjie studied day and night. Except for necessary sleep, he devoted himself wholeheartedly to learning medical skills and improving martial arts. His method of improvement was very rough, directly forcing the fusion. There are ready-made examples. In history, some people integrated Xing-Ai and Tai Chi, and the utilization rate was as high as 16%. Therefore, he only needs to fuse these techniques together, and then use omniscience to sense the utilization rate of these techniques. If it is high, it means it is effective. If it is lower, it means it is wrong, so delete it. One move after another, countless routines, countless techniques, were repeatedly combined by him, just like making mathematical formulas. There are so many combinations. Wanjie spent 3 days and 20 hours in total, and he only managed to integrate one step with a utilization rate of 19.89%. It only takes 4 or 5 years of practice to achieve some success, and the internal martial arts surpasses all known martial arts. Despite this, the utilization rate is still very low. However, it is already very powerful. It can even be said that Wanjie at this time has surpassed most of the so-called martial arts experts on the earth. The reason why it is only to this extent is mainly because of the limitations of the world. As long as there are any heaven-defying exercises in the history of this earth, or even if there are really inherited exercises, he will not be like this. This is the limitation of the world, the limitation of the universe. To be able to achieve this level is already incredible. Countless people in all the worlds were amazed when they saw this. Alas, there is no spiritual energy in Wanjie's world, otherwise, Wanjie could create a Tongtian Kung Fu. Our world needs talents like Wanjie. Our world has reached the age of ending Dharma, and inheritance has been cut off. If Wanjie were in our world, maybe he could bring about a prosperous age of martial arts. It's not that it's possible, it's definitely possible. Wanjie is so incredible, this ability is simply bug level. Terrifying, this Wanjie is so terrifying, he alone is the entire martial arts world. Tai Chi, Xin Yi Quan, Tisk, these two techniques would be considered top-notch techniques in other worlds, right? But in Wanjie's eyes, the utilization rate is still too low. After all, they are in different directions. Wanjie practices bioelectricity in the body. This is very reasonable and in line with the worldview of the scientific universe. In other words, this universe has no internal force or spiritual power. Otherwise, these two skills can definitely be used to great effect. Brilliant. Are the Tai Chi Xin Yi Quan that is popular on the internet so unbelievable? Haha, what you think is a bad street thing is only in your world. But in another world, it is not a bad street thing, but a magical skill. After all, not every world is the same. It is true, just like any skill in our world thrown into a low martial world can cause looting, it is a collision of different world systems. To be honest, now I feel that Wanjie's fusion technique is even more heaven-defying. Although the technique is only for cultivating bioelectricity, in a certain way, it is also for cultivating internal strength. It is an improved cultivation method. In our world, it is definitely a peerless magical skill. Countless people were discussing, looking at everything that happened in the picture, everyone was amazed. Wanjie, it's so unbelievable. He alone is civilization. Spab, at this time, in the picture, countless people were amazed, but Wanjie himself was still a little dissatisfied, or in other words, Wanjie felt something was wrong. He looked at himself improved techniques, frowning. The improved technique is already very powerful. In the eyes of others, it is definitely a fusion of the essence of hundreds of schools of thought, taking the secrets of hundreds of boxing techniques and merging them into such an ultimate suture monster. It can be said that this is already a masterpiece. Anyone who gives it to a practitioner will be ecstatic and intoxicated. However, Wanjie feels that he can do better. Correct. He slapped his forehead and thought of the key. Those sages who created the technique did not know the life veins at all. All knowledge was based on indirect knowledge without knowing the hidden points and hidden veins. Therefore, those moves, those techniques, no matter how they are combined, cannot achieve perfection. If you want it to be perfect, you have to write it yourself. Based on your own understanding of hidden acupoints and hidden veins, you can create your own electrical power. At this moment, Wanjie looked at it with his eyes, and without saying a word, he started researching. He is thirsty for knowledge more than anyone else. Studying the medical field, the biological field, the martial arts field, these three are complementary to each other. The so-called people who study martial arts have more or less some basic knowledge of medical skills. This is not unreasonable. Otherwise, he would not know why he went wrong. He spent another 13 days and thoroughly studied all the classics in the bookstore, but he fell into a bottleneck. Yes, the knowledge in books is only in books after all. What Wanjie lacks now is experience. Experience is something that cannot be given by books. So, now, he needs someone, he needs to meet a medical master, so that he can learn face to face. Then, he went to an affiliated Zhongshan hospital alone. He quickly found out the two experts who were in the clinic. An expert is an expert in respiratory medicine, with a global medical skill ranking of more than 170,000. A pathologist with a global medical skill ranking of over 240,000. Although these two people are lagging behind in ranking, they are already considered very good experts in this hospital. Looking at the world, this ranking is not low. Wanjie looked at himself again. Well, he was only ranked over 500,000 in the world. Soon, he went to line up for the lottery, and he was in front of the respiratory expert. He was definitely not sick. He said something casually, but his eyes were fixed on the expert in front of him. Soon, he had seen through this expert's life. Moreover, after the last enhancement, his brain power has become stronger, his body has become stronger, and he can absorb knowledge faster, and he can even find what he needs specifically. In the next period of time, Wanjie went to the hospital everywhere. Looking for home is like a copying machine, copying the other person's experience, seeing through the other person's life, and absorbing the knowledge you need. He alone is a treasure trove. Along the way, all the way, his strength is improving every minute. They even visited the spots in advance to catch all kinds of Professor Ding Jian. Moreover, he also saw that many doctors' rankings would continue to plummet because of sitting in consultations. Sitting in consultations was equivalent to dawdling around, and there was no way to improve their abilities, so their global rankings would drop. Because, every moment, someone is improving themselves. Based on this, Wanjie can also deduce the other person's life while observing passers-by. In the normal information state, he can read a person's life, but a person's life is not static. There will always be some reason for this person to reach the peak of life or enter the trough. There are too many factors. For example, when Wanjie was on the road, he saw a white-collar-looking man honking his horn frantically in the car. He was stuck in a traffic jam. Moreover, after Wanjie's observation, this person's computer hardware engineering skills will increase dramatically in the next year, and his ranking will increase from 10 million to 100,000. As for why progress is so rapid? Well, Wanjie covered his head, feeling dizzy. The information is too complex and complex. However, Wanjie calmed down and sorted out the reasons for the opponent's rapid technological progress. Finally, he understood that the reason was simple. Because of this traffic jam, he would miss a very important assessment opportunity. As for this person, he also has a hard-working temperament and is the most unpopular person. Faced with the humiliation, he did not break the pot, but worked hard as a slave to prove himself and improve himself. The future is uncertain, and future information will be calculated based on the cause and effect of the current second. Thinking of this, he had a thought in his mind and walked to the white-collar worker's car window. He heard that the man was still honking his horn and shouting, "Can't you turn over there? What's the rush behind? Go back, go back. What are you doing in front?" He yelled, so anxious. In response, Wanjie passed by the car window, looked at the man, and sneered, "One ozer." Ridicule. Ridicule in front of people. The man was stunned and his face was livid. He knew that he was a little impatient. How could he be shouting in public? But he is really anxious. But Wanjie, a stranger, didn't know him, so why should he mock and scold him? Am I just that much of a one-ozer? He became angry. "What did you say? Come back." He wanted to scold him back, but Wanjie was already gone. Oh shit, he slapped the steering wheel and was in a daze, but as he stayed there, he felt aggrieved and almost collapsed. He was already going to be late, and now he is being ridiculed by passers-by. He smiled bitterly and leaned on his seat, as if he had lost all energy. At this time, Wanjie, who was walking away, glanced back at the man and raised the corner of his mouth. This man's future has changed. Yes, it was because of his taunt. Originally, this person would make great progress in the next year, but then he would decline. But because of Wanjie's taunt, this person will continue to rise in the next 3 years and reach his peak. Taking stock of the top 10 golden fingers, the protagonist of Wanjie went crazy. Author, Chirp. Chapter 210. At this moment, countless people in all the world stared blankly at what was happening in the picture. Countless people were dumbfounded and somewhat speechless. Good guy, Wanjie, in one sentence, changed other people's lives. Worry, good fellow, what's one word? What a mockery, actually makes people want to be angry. Change your destiny. Is this the butterfly effect? Originally his superiors and colleagues in the company ridiculed him that he could rise for a year, but then he would still decline, but he didn't expect that because of Wanjie's ridicule from a passerby, he would continue to rise for 3 years. What the hell, dash. Wow, Wanjie is truly omniscient and omnipotent, It's scary. Wanjie's ability is really terrifying. One word changes a person's destiny, good guy. All I want to say now is, Wanjie, please mock me too, I will also reach the peak of my life. Haha, mocking you? You already know what's going on, is there any use in mocking you? What's more, some people really can't hold up the wall with mud. After a few words of ridicule, they start to fall apart. Tisk, Wanjie, this ability is simply terrifying, so terrifying. Is this a walking way of heaven? The way of heaven? Haha, the way of heaven doesn't care about the ants, it will only run coldly and ruthlessly. Tisk, to be honest, I really like being his teammate for a guy like Wanjie. Changing fate at will, messing with the people at will, what is the difference between Wanjie and God? Indeed, with this ability, he is the god of all heavens and worlds. Countless people were discussing, looking at Wanjie in the picture, it was a sigh of relief. And the irony is that in the picture, as Wanjie became more enlightened and knew his abilities more clearly, he realized more enlightenment. The present is now, the future is the future, and the future state is the future state. Although what will happen to that white-collar worker in the next 3 years, because of Wanjie's changes, he will reach the top, etc. But after all, it's just a possibility, just a direction. Because the future is changing anytime and anywhere. Some inexplicable thoughts and even purely random events are completely unpredictable. Maybe someone made a mistake and made it with a twitch of the brain. Actions that are inconsistent with one's own personality will then cause a butterfly effect, a chain reaction, and even change the fate of most people in society. Simply put, this is a community of human destiny. One person's changes will also affect changes in the people around you will also affect the people around you. In this way, wave after wave, the flapping of butterfly wings, can cause a huge flood on the other side of the ocean. A single move can affect the whole body. Wanjie sees through it information, knowing a certain possibility in the future, is similar to that of some reborn people. Of course, those reborn people only know what they have experienced, and what has been changed by the butterfly effect is not something they can predict. But it's very different. Even if the butterfly effect changes a large group of people, Wanjie can penetrate into the changed future, deduce it, and even change it. But, again, there is no point in predicting the longer-term future, because the future can happen at any time. Everything is changing. On the contrary, the shorter the prediction, the more useful it is. For example, Wanjie's own destiny. He looked at himself and perceived his future. Then he found that his future changed too fast, every time it's different. He changes 70 times in 1 second, sometimes he steps his left foot, sometimes he steps his right foot, sometimes he looks back, sometimes he jumps on the spot. Every move he makes can change the future and create uncertainty in the future. This is information, the future of the omniscient. Because he has information perception, his own future is unpredictable, and even every prediction will change the future. At this time, Wanjie walked along, watching others, and at the same time deepening his own understanding of precognitive information. He wanted to see if there was a future for mankind. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Wanjie suddenly staggered, veins on his forehead were straight, his brain was groggy, and he was dizzy. He leaned against the street lamp and breathed heavily. Even though his physique was now strengthened, he still felt like he was being flooded by the vast amount of information, and his mind was like a ball of mush. He tried his best to block out the complicated information and let it go. I only perceive the survival of mankind in the future. Dong dong. His heart was beating wildly, and he was still too reluctant now. His stomach was churning, his legs were weak, and he knelt directly on the ground with a splitting headache. His eyes were full of bloodshot eyes. Finally. 2045. At this moment, Wanjie suddenly opened his eyes. He saw it. He saw a blue sun appearing in the sky. It was not that the sun had changed color, but that there was another blue sun on the side of the sun, colorful sun. Double sun volley. Terrifying radiation swept across the world, countless creatures were killed instantly, not only humans, but also animals, plants, all creatures were evaporated in an instant. Except for some creatures in the deep sea that persisted a little unexpectedly, the moment the sun appeared, more than 99% of the species on the earth became extinct. This is the future of mankind. The future 35 years later. Call. Wanjie was panting, sweating profusely, and his whole body was twitching. Too forced. It is still too reluctant for him to perceive the future 35 years from now. He was forced to hold on with just one breath. It wasn't until he saw the future 35 years later and the end of the world that his mind began to fluctuate. Then, his vision went black and he fainted. Countless people in all the worlds were stunned when they saw this scene. Hey guys, double day volley. What the hell is that blue sun? Blue sun? Destroy everything? Everything evaporated in an instant? What is this? So scary. Good guy, the Earth has 35 years left to live. Oh, no, the Earth I am on is in 2040, so there are 5 years left to live. Grass. Real or fake? Is this a special case in Wanjie's world? Or is it a microcosm of the endless world? I don't want to die so early. I don't want to live until 2045 and then die. Oh, wait, I think I was born in 2045. Oh. That's okay. 35 years, does Wanjie only have 35 years left in this world? I don't know how people in that world would react after seeing this scene. What's the reaction? Now, I'm afraid I'm too panicked. Well, it's also possible that those people don't even know that Wanjie is from their own world. It is also possible. Without knowing Wanjie, who knows who Wanjie is? What about Grandpa Wanjie? Zheng Xian should know, right? I don't care what their reaction is. What I want to know now is what the reaction of the 4 aliens on the moon was. What other reaction could there be? Either you are surprised and report it to your superiors, or you are completely confused and don't know that you are talking about your own world. Alas, is there a possibility that the timeline where Wanjie is located in reality has already broken the catastrophe of the end of the Earth? Gee, that's possible too. Is the end of the Earth the key? The most important thing is not that Wanjie can predict the next 35 years himself. Deducing the next 35 years, well, actually it's not bad. For Danang, he can calculate into the future with just a few fingers. Even if he is not as detailed as Wanjie, he can probably know what will happen in 35 years. Something big happened. Therefore, Wanjie is still suitable for the fantasy fairy world. He only needs to use his fingers to calculate whether the calculation is correct and use the information to sense it, just like Klein's divination. Divination and deduction are the perfect match for Huang. It's just that if they were a perfect match when they were young, once Wanjie's physical fitness reaches the standard, he won't need these auxiliary means. He can see the future with just one glance. But, to be honest, this Wanjie is really suitable for the world of fantasy fairy tales. At this time, countless people in the world are discussing, all of which are somewhat novel. Wanjie is very suitable for the world of fantasy immortals. If there is any opportunity, you will know it at a glance. What achievements can the technique ultimately achieve, and how should it be changed? You will know at a glance. It can be said that in the world of fantasy fairy tales, Wanjie's defiance is definitely no less than that of some genius. Copy. Just copy. You have a secret inheritance, right? Okay, next it's mine in 1 second. You know the secrets, you know countless secrets, right? Well, it's mine in the next second. In front of Wanjie, everything is gone, it's a secret. Countless people sighed with emotion. At the same time, they were also envious and jealous. Wanjie's ability was so rebellious and buggy. At this time, countless people looked at the screen again. To be honest, they also wanted to know whether Wanjie's situation could change the future 35 years later. 35 years may be said to be long or short. Can Wanjie change? Can you kill aliens on the moon? Anyway, this is a big question. As countless people thought about it, they saw that in the picture, Wanjie himself had not been unconscious for long. When he woke up, it seemed that only a few minutes had passed. A kind passerby helped him to the side of the road and pinched him while making a phone call. Asking for flowers. Wanjie wakes up and stops it quickly. Oh, you woke up and I called an ambulance, he said, still looking at Wanjie. However, Wanjie shook his head. No need, I'm fine, thank you, I just didn't have a good rest. As he said that, he looked at the sun in the sky. He was in a trance. The double sun was volleying in the sky, and the world was destroyed. He pursed his lips and felt the suppression of the vast information, and then he lowered his head. At this time, the man said, "Be careful and get some rest." Wanjie looked at the man, waved his hand and said, "I'm fine, but you should also get some rest. It's best to go to the hospital for a checkup." "Examine? What are you checking?" "I'm in good health." The man didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He was kind enough to save people, but the man asked him to go to the hospital for a checkup. Who is in bad health? Wanjie looked at the man in front of him, and in a daze, the life of the man in front of him flashed before his eyes. The man in front of me was indeed kind-hearted, otherwise he would not have saved him, a stranger. However, this man's life was not good, and he got stomach cancer. A few years later, the tumor worsened, and he died. However, there is still a chance, and now the tumor was still small. If it had been removed in time in the past 2 months, it would have been too late. But obviously the man didn't know. Wanjie knew that the man didn't listen. He stared at him for a while, observing more information. After a while, his expression became strange. At this time, the passerby also noticed something unusual. "Why are you staring?" "Oh, wait." He seemed to notice something unusual about Wanjie. He looked at Wanjie's eyes with curiosity. "What's wrong with your eyes?" He hadn't noticed it before, when Wanjie fell unconscious and fell to the ground. Now that I saw Wanjie's eyes, I realized something was wrong. "Good guy, these eyes, double pupils." His eyes widened with disbelief on his face. "Double eyes? You have double eyes, right? So handsome. I didn't expect that. I actually met someone with double eyes. Can you see ghosts?" "This guy, I always like to study strange and weird things. Although it was the first time he saw a real double-eyed person, he still recognized it at a glance. However, Wanjie shook his head. It's nothing, it's just an eye problem. But obviously, he didn't listen, and his face was still full of excitement. Wanjie didn't deny too much. Looking at the person in front of him, all the information was quickly gathered together. This man's name is Lin Li. He is kind-hearted, has a strong sense of responsibility, and has high demands on himself. He hates to be criticized by others. He is unloyal and stubborn. Sometimes he feels that he is very powerful and will give up on himself when he is hit hard. In addition, Lin Li's hobbies are also very unique. He likes to study and collect strange things, which is commonly known as the second disease. Therefore, he was defrauded of all his money by a fortune teller. Tonight, he will go to see the old liar again. He is a simple guy who can easily be taken advantage of. Wanjie thought for a while and knew that it was unrealistic to advise people to get a physical examination. He was thinking about the 2-day volley, so he just chatted for a few words and said goodbye at the end. Remember to bring your mobile phone when you go out. Then he left. Lin Li didn't know why. The two of them were just strangers, let's just say goodbye. But Lin Li was a little regretful that he couldn't talk more about double pupils. This was the first time he saw such a strange existence in reality. And the scene changed. On the other side, Wanjie had returned to the apartment, sitting in front of the computer in a daze. Until this moment, he was in a daze looking at the double sun volley. 35 years. There are still 35 years left before the extinction of life on Earth. Although Wanjie was mentally prepared, after seeing this message again, he was still in a daze. What happened? The terrifying light swept across the Earth. The Earth itself was fine. Even the buildings were still there. Only life was radiated. And die. Perhaps, we should warn the world and all countries. Whether they believe it or not, whether I can change the future or not, at least uniting everyone, the success rate should be higher, right, he thought. With this thought, he began to perceive for the second time. The future he perceived seemed to be exactly what he thought, with unprecedented unity of mankind and the explosion of science and technology in just 2 years, but he didn't expect that it was only 2012. Years ago, disasters began to occur. The atmosphere was thin and the sun was stronger than ever before. Countless people were exposed to radiation and died in pain. Only a handful of people survived. Wanjie's forehead jumped. There was no doubt that he was once again fainted. When he woke up again, he was in a trance again. Changed. Faster than before. Is it because of my solidarity? Wanjie frowned. Immediately, he thought about it, gave up the idea of uniting all countries, and sensed again. But this time, the future has returned to 2045, the blue light version of world destruction. This is. Wanjie was stunned. What is my life simulator?